What are we doing here on a Sunday, you may ask? Well, we just had to move premium takes around. I talked to my fellow co-host Mac and my fellow co-host Adam, and I told them, hey guys, my working schedule looks like I'm going to be working a lot on Monday. Can we please move the podcast to Sunday? And they agreed. And I want to just thank you guys. And how's your guys' day today? And what's up to you, family? Thank you for being here live on YouTube as we all enjoy the Pro Bowl today. I'm not even watching the Pro Bowl, but I'm going to put it on. And we just wanted to give you guys some entertainment while you guys watch entertainment, such as the Pro Bowl. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to say what's up to my friend Mac. What's up, Mac? And how you doing today?
I'm doing good. What's going on? How you fellas feeling, man?
Good, good.
What's going on in the chat, Jeff? Nice to see you, brother.
Absolutely. What's going on, Jeffrey? Thank you so much for being here. We'll drop the link in a little bit once we get into our topics. We'd love to hear from you. What's going on, Adam?
Hey guys, how are you? Sunday, the sun is up. You know, it's a nice day in this winter days of the dog days of winter, as they say. But I'm excited to have this talk with you. I know the Pro Bowl's on. Not many people are liking the Pro Bowl. Jeff and Logan and Super Taj, how you guys doing? I know you guys think the Pro Bowl's a joke. It really is. But hey, it's football before the big game, so it's something to nibble on, because then guess what? You don't have football for like 7-8 months, so people are going to crave it. So enjoy it while it's here.
Absolutely. You know what, guys? I just want to apologize first off of my lack of content on the channel. Reason being is I had a new schedule. I'm trying to get adjusted, and I have to get motivated to make sure that I'm bringing you guys content. So first off, for my viewers out there, I just want to apologize for that. Going forward, I do have some plans to do some stuff. We had some 30-minute sessions. Obviously, Premium Takes is always going to come to you guys weekly. And throughout that, I'll try to fill in with some videos. So I just wanted to get that out of the way real fast. I haven't even gave my reaction to Coach Brian Dable getting hired yet. And being that it was so late, I was just going to wait till his full staff was in place to actually give my breakdown. But since we have an episode of Premium Takes, I'm just thinking, why don't we start it off? It's kind of a stale topic, but at the end of the day, he is going to be our coach for the foreseeable future. And I want to just kind of give my thoughts on it. I absolutely love the hire. I think it was a good choice. And I think that he's going to bring in a good offensive mind with what Daniel Jones and this offense needed. If you think about it, we struggled even getting 10 yards on offense. We struggled scoring on offense. Yeah, we moved the ball down the field, and then what? We throw an interception, and then what? We fumble, then what? We get stopped in the end zone. Like a lot of things happened this past couple of years where we've seen Daniel Jones, kind of wise on certain occasions, but not really take advantage and not really put the team on his back. If you look at what Pat Shermer was doing with him and utilizing him, I think that Brian Daboll is going to bring in that kind of offense. Well, not like the Pat Shermer offense, but this being creative. The defense knew what we was calling before we even called it. He's going to bring more creativity. I know he's a first-time head coach, but I think this staff that he's putting together is a wonderful staff, and I wanted to get into that. So my first question to you guys is basically, if I know you guys probably talked about it over and over again, but your honest thoughts on Brian Daboll and the hire.
Mac?
Well, I can get started. Like I said, it's refreshing. It's a refreshing hire. Just feel like it's something completely different than the New York Giant way that we've been all accustomed to. So like I said, it excites me, it charges my battery as a Giants fan, because I feel like good things are coming potentially, man. I mean, we don't know to get to the product on the field, but I feel like good things are coming, man. Like, much respect to Patrick Graham. I understand why he felt the need to move on. And it's all well good. We get somebody else in there that's going to help keep this defense playing at least at a competent level. This is one thing I say about them that I couldn't say about the offensive year this past season. But like you just mentioned, early in the years, it was just a bit. It's been weird. Like earlier, we were at least able to move the ball between the 20s and look somewhat competent for an extent. And then late in the season, we couldn't even do that. We couldn't even move the ball. at all. And the lone score touchdowns. You talk about touchdowns, we couldn't even. It was like absolutely like we were allergic to the end zone late in the season, man. I mean, not late in the all season. Like actually had some kind of issue with crossing goal line one touchdown. So Brian Dable can bring life to this offense, and like kind of get Daniel Jones direction of this rookie season and offensive productivity. Obviously, don't see him revert back and have those turnovers like his rookie. Obviously, don't want to see that, but at least get back to looking productive offensively because people forget like Daniels played 12 games. He started 12 games, played a couple series in the first year. That season. I don't really count that, but yeah, if he would have played and started 16 games, he would have, as rookie, I think, would have only touchdown passes as a rookie. So that in the perspective, man, and maybe they would get Jones back looking like that guy. He was his rookie season, at least throwing the ball and just moving the offense, and maybe we can see, man, maybe if it happen, we open up the run game, get Saquon Barkley going. A lot of good things that can happen, man, and I'm excited for beginnings in New York, man. New York Nightfall.
Excellent. Well, I can't hear you, Zion.
Oh, I was muted. Thank you. I was just saying thank you so much, Miz. That's absolutely facts. And Mac, you was cutting off from here and there, but we heard your point, and that's absolutely facts. And on to you, Adam.
So yeah, I think Max spoke for most Giant fans that I feel that I've talked to. Miz, just want to say thanks for that comment, and Jeff as well. But I agree with Mac. He's bringing some sense of life to it. Now, I've warmed up to the idea of Brian Dable, as you guys know. I will not speak of the coach who I wanted to right now due to legal talks, but the coach I wanted obviously is, in a different direction. So I was a little apprehensive. But now as I get to know the guy, learn more about him, I studied him coming in, just to get an idea of him. But as I hear him talk, on like the Rich Eisen show or WFAN, I'm really starting to like his personality, what he's going to bring to the table. Some of the guys he's looking to hire or has hired already. They talk about Kafka. He's coming from Kansas City, so hopefully we'll be able to pull some concepts from there. Obviously, Daboll is exciting. Like I told somebody, it reminds me of Jim Fossil. And the reason I say that is I want him to be the head coach, let Kafka call plays. And if he struggles, you take over and say, hey, listen, I'm going to call the plays the rest of the game or, next week if they have a bad loss. And then they can kind of figure it out as they go, right? Because obviously Kafka never called plays before. So I just think he can help out the offense. But this team is going to be a lot different than we think. We think it's going to keep a lot more guys, and from what I'm hearing, they might bare bones it. They might break it down to the studs, right? Which may need to happen. Like I know people like Barkley, but hey, we get some value for him. You get him, right? We'll figure out another back. They didn't have a premium back in the Dable system, right? They had a couple backs by committees, and if you can decide you can go cheaper and get a backs from free agency or the draft, why not? Right? Get assets right now. You want to build that foundation, while he comes in. So Daboll excites me. Shane excites me. The communication they're going to have back and forth with each other. I know that they're looking into a few defensive coordinators, some names I like. Wink Martindale would be interesting. Vic Fangio, but we'll see what he puts together because at the end of the day, the offense was the worst part. The defense has some talent. And it's unfortunate they can't keep Patrick Graham. I mean, he went off to bigger and better things. I don't blame him, right? Patrick Graham wants to go to a team that has a chance to win, which allows him to be a head coach, right? If the Raiders win next year and their defense is top 10, well, guess who's getting first interviews, right? It's a business decision that he made, and I like it. So Daboll overall, like Max said, gets me fired up, ready to go as a Giant fan. I'm tempering my expectations because there's still a long time to go in the offseason. We don't know who's going to be cut. We don't know what they're going to try to do salary cap wise. I know there's a number thrown around about $40 million, but if they are already negative in the red, you're going to have to make up that red to get to your goal. So if they are $40 million, they got to get rid of basically $45 million so they can, get that even number down. And that means a lot of people are either going to be restructured or cut or plus our free agents. We have 18 that are walking out the door. That's a lot of free agents. So I'm excited to see what he does. I'm excited to see how this regime works out. And yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you for joining us, Levance, and awesome points, Adam. One thing I wanted to point out too, what Jeffrey and Taj were saying in the comments. They were saying that they're going to try to install a Bills and Chiefs offense. If you think what Adam was saying, bringing in Mike, he's a quarterback coach for Patrick Mahomes for the past 4 or 5 years, I believe it was. Um, Obviously removing positions within Kansas City. But yes, when Dave Gettleman came in, we tried to install. He was bringing in all these Carolina players and stuff like that, and that's good. Nothing against Carolina players, but if you see the difference between the Bills and the Chiefs versus Carolina, and also too, what it kind of seems to is when Joe Judge was here and Dave Gettleman was here, they wanted to. Obviously, everybody got hired at different timings and everything like that, so schedule kind of works out differently, kind of too. But if you think about it, Judge wanted to be so involved with what Gettleman was doing in the draft, whereas in this situation, the chemistry is already built. Where Brian Dable was basically saying to Joe, like, "Yo, you go." Obviously, he wants to be involved, and obviously, he's gonna suggest players and stuff like that, and they're gonna be in communication. But also, you've seen it where Brian Dable's like, "Yo, let me stay here, put my staff together. I trust you. You go out there and you go scout." You know what I'm saying? I was reading an article where they're separated right now. Brian Dable's doing his thing, hiring the coaching staff, and Joe is out there at the scouting players at the Senior Bowl and things like that. And I absolutely love that chemistry, because one thing that's the biggest thing in any relationship, as far as coaching or a relationship in real life, is trust. You have to be able to trust. And that's one thing that I kind of noticed with Judge and Dave Gettleman. They trusted each other, but they always kind of wanted to know what the other person was doing. It seems in this situation, we're really set up at the start because both already trust that they're capable of doing their jobs. And so you stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane. We're going to collab lanes when we need to, but we trust each other to get it right. And another thing I wanted to point out too is if you look at the salary cap situation, like 40 million, that's a lot of cap that he wants to build. And a lot of people's talking about, and I am too, everybody's talking about it. We're excited. We have 2 top 10 picks, but the top 10 picks is going to require a higher salary. The higher you go in the draft is going to require a higher salary. So we have to clear up salary for that too. Now there's some talks, we've been talking about it for a while. If you wait till, I believe after June 1st, I could have that date wrong. You can get 13 million back for cutting Bradbury. That's something that could drop that down tremendously. That could bring that down to, like, now we only have to clear 27. And like Adam says, the restructuring, and we have 18 players that we have to cut. It's going to be a really, really, really exciting time for the New York Giants, and it's fun that we get to be here, obviously, and in the situation where we didn't know where we was going to be week 15, week 17, and now we're in a whole situation that just opens up, and you know anything's possible. And I love the staff that put it together. Let's get it.
Well, I just want to touch
Well,
on what you're saying before you leave. Sorry, Mac, or before we move on. Is the communication and the way that John Mara has structured this has allowed us to be excited, because right now we have a big picture communication here, right? You have the GM, we have assistant GM, right? That's also a player personnel person from the Eagles. So you not only have a division rival on your side, right, looking at your roster, but you also have a Bills who is used to a different type of thinking, because remember, they're not beating the NFC teams, they're beating the AFC teams. They're looking to beat Kansas City and the Patriots. And so when you bring those guys in a different perspective, different set of eyeballs, and John Mara is allowing them to do it, I mean, hey, that's great. I mean, that means he trusts this guy, and he thinks he trusts both these guys to do the job, and they think they can handle it. Because obviously, there's a lot of issues going on right now with like you said, with the combine, with all this, all the stuff going on in the news, and then the draft and free agencies. The fact that they're dealing with this chaos right now is going to better them as they go, because they'll know, hey, did this together. We weathered the storm, and let's look into free agency. Last thing I'm going to say is look for a lot of players from the coaching staffs to come in here. Bills players, whatever defensive coordinators out there, a couple of players like that, helps to kind of get the message across. Mac, sorry.
I was just going to add, like, what Todd's comment about the Bills, Chiefs type offense. Man, we can keep in respect about that though. Is got to remember one thing. It's cool to some nuances of those offenses over here, but remember, we have Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. We don't have Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. So you got to still keep in mind the players you do have and able to truly work to maximize their set and get the most out of those players. And that's what I'm hoping these coaching over here do, because our last coach, Judge promises a whole bill of good about teaching these players and doing what these guys make you guys do what they can do best, and we saw absolutely none of that. So hopefully we can keep these guys up and get us going.
Absolutely. I know it's a week away. We're gonna have a whole week to talk about it, but why don't we start it off now? We got the Bengals versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna let you guys go first. I got my take on it, but I'm gonna let you guys go first. So, Matt, you can start it off.
So the Bengals Rams. Sorry, I don't know if it's still cutting in and out. Is it still, or is it?
It is a little bit, but not as bad as it was before. You can.
For Bills Rams situation game, man. I said the Bills, Bengals Rams.
You see the Bills? Sorry, the Bengals. I'm sorry.
The Bengals. Yeah, the Bills Rams Super Bowl. It's going to be a fun one, man. I mean, you're talking about two teams. The Bengals have never Super Bowl.
What a pick.
The Rams haven't won one in quite some time, so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun, man. To see these two teams got two quarterbacks that are going to be hungry for their first Super Bowl victory. That's after a little longer in the two. So in a sense, he could play things. He could, but at the same time, he could go out there a little too charged up, a little too top and make some calling mistakes. Because Stafford is known for that from time to time. So I don't know. It'll be a fun game to watch, man. I really kind of just spot in my heart for the Cincinnati Bengals. Just forward to put a little story up. I got a little cousin who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, when he was a big time Cincinnati Bengals fan through and through. He was with the Bengals his whole life, and he got to see that team really, be a winner or be a pretty football team. Unfortunately, and I know he's up there right now, proud of the Cincinnati Bengals, and so I got a little spot in my heart for them. And I feel like they're just a team, but I feel like it's all the pieces just keep falling for this football team this year. Man. Throughout the playoffs, man, every time it's like they're back to the wall, like ready to count them out, they find a way to dish out of, man. They get the job done, and I just think that's going to go a long way with them. And I really feel got this really strange feeling they're going to find a way to pull this game off on Sunday, man, against the Rams. So I like the Bengals, man.
I like it.
And thanks, Vance. Thanks, Vance, for that too, by the way, brother. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. We got Mac going Bengals. Welcome, Jeff. Welcome, Hit Squad. I'd love to hear you guys take after Adam. We got one for Bengals. Adam, who do you got?
How you guys doing?
Houday Nation is going to be doing it up, partying down there in good old LA, because I just feel, to me, watching a team grow before your eyes, right? They beat Kansas City, and I'm not talking about the division round, the championship game. I'm talking about in the regular season, right? When the Giants did it twice on their Super Bowl runs, they beat the best team in football or went toe-to-toe with them, and then they figured out how to beat them, right? The same thing happened with this team. I felt once they hit Kansas City, they're like, man, we just beat the best team in the AFC. Nothing can stop us now, right? And a lot of us talked on streams that whoever won the Bills game, Bills-Chiefs, was going to represent and win the Super Bowl. Well, guess what? That team's not in there anymore. So what does that mean? If that Bengals team can beat Kansas City, you don't think they can go in and beat LA? Come on. You don't think their confidence is riding high? Now, I know LA is a sexy pick. That's why everybody wants to pick them. They got Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Donald. They just got Matthew Stafford for this reason. And I don't want to be obvious. I don't want to take the obvious choice. And, hey, if the Bengals get cock out on all game, well, guess what? I'm going to take that and be like, listen, I picked them. You win some, you lose some. I don't have really a dog in this fight, so to speak. I just want to see a interesting team, a team that's never won a Super Bowl in their history, put one in their trophy case. You know, Joe Burrow has amazed me at how well he has played for a second year quarterback. To to do the things he's doing, not only is I think he one of the first, if not the only, second year first overall pick to lead his team to the Super Bowl, in his second year. That's phenomenal for a first overall pick. Hasn't been done. It hasn't been done many times in their second year, at least. This is amazing. He makes the defense better. How does he do that? Because the defense knows when they go out there, their offense is not really going to spit it back for them too much. Joe Burrow is going to make the safe throw, the safe play, the play that's going to get them long. And then if he needs to make a play, look what he did in Kansas City. The rush came, they're third and a mile, and he runs for the first down, right? And nothing bothered him. The only other quarterback I've ever seen do that, and I've been watching this documentary on Joe Montana, was Joe Montana, where he came in and nothing fazed him. He's sitting there, his lineman's all tense in the Super Bowl, all, like this. And he goes, look, there's John Kennedy. The guy laughs, they all laugh, and they go down and win the game-winning drive. I just feel like Joe Burrow has that kind of Joe Cool mentality where he's just like, we're just going to play a game and have fun, and we'll see what the outcome is. So, Who Dey Nation, get ready. Get whatever lucky rabbit's foot you got, whatever, Hail Marys you got to say, because this game is not too big for you. Your quarterback has done that for you. So you sit back and enjoy the ride. Whatever happens, happens. It was a great season for the Bengals.
Hell yeah. So got Adam taking the Bengals. Jeff, welcome to the show, my friend. Hell yeah. Thank you for calling in. Who do you got? Rams versus Bengals, Super Bowl.
It's good to talk to you again, Zion, Mac, Adam, Hit Squad. Good to hear all you guys again. And in terms of my predictions for who I think might win this game, I'm going to go with the Bengals as well. I just think this team, like piggybacking off what Adam said, I just think this team is that team of destiny. That they're just the team that no matter how much, other teams push them down, like, a lot of teams don't believe they can, make the big plays. They're just the Cinderella darling. They keep coming out of nowhere, making those key plays, key catches, sacks, Mixon with the big runs. Joe Burrow, the guy, every time you need to make a play on that field, it seems like Burrow always seems to make that play. And I really look at that matchup on the outside as a big key. A lot of people are going to look at the offensive line on the Bengals. Are they going to be able to hold up against that ferocious Rams defensive line? But I look at the outside matchups, and obviously we're all going to be keying in on that big matchup with Jamar Chase against Jalen Ramsey as the key matchup out there. But at the same time, you're going to have Darius Williams up against T. Higgins, and in the slot, you're going to have our old buddy Dante Dion that's going to be going against Tyler Boyd, who's also can be a matchup back there. And then can that linebacking of the Rams be able to handle Joe Mixon, who's making a lot of tough runs up the middle? So you have to figure those are going to be some very key matchups out there, because you figure they're going to try to take Chase out of the game. And then it's going to be up to guys like T. Higgins. It's going to be up to Tyler Boyd. It's going to be up, if he could play in the game, C.J. Uzomah and the other guys to make some plays out there and take advantage of the one-on-ones. And at the same time, we've seen lately with the Rams, Cooper Kupp has just been a menace out there. Not a lot of teams have been able to try to take this guy out of the game. And even when he's doubled or triple team, he's still making these clutch catches. He's still getting open, find ways to get open. And now OBJ is starting to rediscover some of his, some of his abilities that he was playing like before. I think he's starting to be 100% recovered from that ACL injury, and they're starting to get some good key running from Cam Akers. And as long as Matt Stafford doesn't make the bone-wrenching bad INTs or bad plays to lose the game for them, I think the Rams still got a shot. But at the same time, I just think this Bengals team, there's just something about them that reminds us, like Adam was saying before too, like the 2007 New York Giants, where this team just makes those plays when they need to make them. And then a lot of people just keep doubting them, and they just always seem to make those key plays to put them over the top. So I really believe that this is the Bengals' year, and that the Rams might be the better team, but I think the Bengals are that team of destiny, and they're not going to be denied, especially Joe Burrow. I think this guy is going to lead the Bengals to that Super Bowl trophy and bring that trophy to Cincinnati for the first time. So I'm going with the Bengals on this one.
Alrighty, thank you, Jeff, for that good take, premium
Thank you,
take.
guys.
Alrighty, so we got Jeff going to Bangles. So we got three Bangles onwards to Hit Squad. Hit Squad, thank you for calling in today, my good sir. Who do you got? Rams versus Bengals.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. It's nice seeing y'all. It's been a great show, man, for real. Um, I mean, I think honestly it was a little bit hard to choose because there's some players I'm pulling for on the Rams. I really want to see OBJ thrive. I think I'm one of the few Giants fans that actually mean that because there's still a lot of Giants fans that got, excuse my language, but still got his dick in their mouth and they are just talking shit. Um, I want to see Aaron Donald win. I want to see Matt Stafford win. But I got to go with the Bengals, man. It's crazy how we all going with the Bengals for the most part.
Well,
I
now
just
they're not the underdog, are they?
Nah, I mean, it's just for me, man. I mean, Joe Burrow has single-handedly put that team on his back. I mean, you go into Tennessee, man, who's the number one seed in the AFC, and you take 9 sacks and you still win the game, man. I mean, that's unheard of, And as much as people talk about the passing attack with the Rams, which it's I get it 100%. Cooper Cup, got the triple crown this year. Honestly, man, I mean, he is. I'm sorry, Zion and Jeff, excuse my language, but that white boy can play, bruh. That white boy can play, man. And with OBJ, but uh, to me, man, I mean, the Bengals have an even more dominant passing attack, man. I mean, Jamar Chase as a rookie, I mean, that dude. Let's be real. Jamar Chase lines up with Jalen Ramsey. That's what I'm looking at in this game, man. Because I mean, let's be real. Eli Apple's getting cooked by Cup. He's getting cooked by OBJ. I'm not looking at that matchup. I'm looking at Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase because right there, I think like I said, for a rookie, Jamar Chase has been balling out. Jalen Ramsey's the best corner, in my opinion, in this game. I would really love to see that matchup. But you still have Tyler Boyd. You still have T. Higgins, who I think on any other team, those two wide receivers are another team's number one. I know not many people may agree with that, but they are so solid, man. And Joe Mixon, I know he has a lot of controversy around him, but he's still balling. He's a first round talent. I think they got him in the second rounds, I believe. I could be wrong, but I know that he was rated a first round talent. Um, and they're one of the few teams that's been able to succeed with the bad offensive line. I think that if they can attack that line, man, that's a dynasty going forward. So for me, man, I got to choose the Bengals. I think it's going to be an offensive heavy game. Um, and honestly, man, if the Rams were to lose this game, um, I don't know, man. I mean, at that point, I'm not going to question Sean McVay, but this is your second time going to the Super Bowl, man. Not many coaches get that luxury, and you fall twice, and against a team that you can make an argument shouldn't be there, but is there. So I got to choose the Bengals.
Alrighty, so we got Hit going Bengals. So all of you guys went Bengals, and thank you for setting up my point, Hit. Alrighty, let's get it. Los Angeles. Now, I had Los Angeles versus Buffalo at the beginning of the season before the season started. Unfortunately, Buffalo fell short. It's fine. We got a team in the Bengals like you all made excellent points on. But there's one problem in that they've never been there before. You got sacked 9 times. I mean, like you good, Joe Burrow, and you damn near elite, and you're taking your team to where it needs to go. I went back, watched some highlights. The ball really bounced their directions in some of those games. Call it destiny, call it football gods, call it what you want to call it. Joe Nixon will get removed from this game real quick. Joe Burrow will be running for his life again. The Los Angeles Rams is built better than the Kansas City Chiefs. They have better ribbons than the Kansas City Chiefs. You can try to Tyreek Hill. You can take Tyreek Hill out of the game. You know, Van Jefferson can catch one on Eli Apple. Doesn't matter who you put out there. Bengals will be being playing catch up all game. The Rams will come up to an early lead, dominate up front. That our bad offensive line with the Bengals will get exposed. Nixon wouldn't be able to get into the game because he'll be getting stopped every time. They'll have to come around with like some jet sweeps or some reversals for Higgins and for the LSU connection and Chase. Now I'm not going to take nothing away from Joe Burrow. I'm not going to take nothing away from chase that Bengals defense, anything's possible, and they've been playing some good football. But all I have to say is Sean McVay been there before, and he experienced a loss. And he said at the beginning of the season, went all out there. He traded draft picks away like he continues to do. He played this. He brought in Matthew Stafford to be in this game. This was planned out before the season even started. Rent got Von Miller. Rent got OBJ. These are veterans. This is a veteran team that is going to go out there and expose a team that's young and that's still going to be there, that still has a chance to win it. But right now, Joe Burrow, you're young, you're going to get yours. But Matthew Stafford will be holding that Lombardi trophy at the end of that game. So I got the Los Angeles Rams, and I got them by at least 2 touchdowns.
Wow. Well, I don't think you're necessarily wrong, but LA, listen, man, look, you look at that Tampa Bay game, they were in that game and Tampa Bay came crawling back. Now, what my point is here, everyone's like, well, what are you talking about, Adam? There was a divisional matchup, blah, blah, blah. But my point is that they can be scored on if they want to. And with Jamar Chase is going to draw the double coverage. Yes, go give him Jalen Ramsey. Now, the other guys have been playing well. Tyler Boyd hasn't played that well in this postseason. I look for him to have a big game in the Super Bowl because him and Higgins are going to kind of change the dynamic of how the defense is going. You want to know how you stop a pass rush? You spread them out wide. You go empty set. You say, okay, we'll let you do what you need to do. And now it's advantage offensive line. They went up against defense that has been better than them in this entire playoffs and have schemed their way to victories. They were against, again, arguably the best team in the AFC and in the NFL in the Kansas City Chiefs. That team went up 21-3 in the halftime. We all were about to turn the game off. We're snoozing. And they came back. And I know you said about opportunities. Listen, opportunities are only as good as you cash in on them. Because you can get as many opportunities as you want and still lose the football game. This team punched it in when they needed to punch it in. The moment wasn't too big for them in the AFC Championship. They could have folded. When they got the ball back, right, they could have easily folded, not scored, or scored a field goal or did something else. You know who folded? Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. They got greedy in the first half. So they overshot their load to say, hey, we're going to put it on you now. Thanks for, doing this. And they went back in, made adjustments, and came out. So my thing is this. I can't doubt what I can't doubt, and that's the Bengals right now have found a way to claw, no pun intended, their way into and out of every game with a victory. And it's going to be no different against Kansas City. Now they got 2 weeks to prepare. If you had given me I'm not Kansas City, excuse me, LA. If you told me this game was the following week, maybe you'd have something on me. But now you got 2 weeks to prepare. They got tape to look at. The moment's not too big for the quarterback. I know there's a little drama out there about Joe Burrow and his girlfriend and something on Twitter, but nobody cares about that crap. I mean, I don't give a damn about that. It's not none of our business, and that's what it's going to happen. It's the Super Bowl. There's always an article or two that comes out. I'm looking forward to media day. Let's see what happens. Let's see who might poke the bear a little bit and make one side more angry than the other.
And also remember that too.
I was going to add one more thing about it. Just the coaching, man, and then not to say anything about obviously McVay's been proven to be pretty accomplished. He's going, like I said, going to his second Super Bowl as a head coach. But this Cincinnati Bengals team also just very well coached. If I can go back and hit on a squad, maybe was talking about offensive line. It's obvious the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line absolutely atrocious, almost as bad as the New York Giants. Not quite, but almost. Pretty bad offensive line Cincinnati Bengals had. One thing their coach was able to do were somewhat hide those deficiencies to make their offense functional. They continue to do that. They make adjustments necessary, game adjustments, and everything else. Many of the games just absolutely are knowing that they're undermanned on that offensive line, but they still find ways to make their offense work. And like he also said about the wide receivers, man, there are teams in this league that your boy would absolutely be the number one wide receiver on. Absolutely. There are 4 teams in the league where that guy who was number 3 on this roster would be number one wide receiver on the teams in this league. So that's just a lot to try to handle also. And good as Jalen Ramsey is, he can have one of those guys at a time. And the other two are going to have field days. Like this is like I'm saying where Tyler Boyd could be pushed to have a big night because they're going to be so focused. It's going to be so focused stopping Jamar Chase and stopping T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd become a forgotten man on the other side of the ball, and Joe Burrow won't forget about him. Joe and make the Rams play. So I just this Cincinnati team, it keeps happening, man. And I just don't see it stop. I think they're intimidated by the Bites of LA. I think they're going to be intimidated by the Super Bowl. They're going to do exactly what they've been doing and continue to get the job done. I just think not stop.
Hey Mac, try leaving and coming back. You're cutting out. Just try leaving the studio and then coming back to the studio. See if that helps.
I got you.
Oh, and Zion too. I was gonna say real quickly with in terms of the Rams. I mean, you were mentioning before that the Bengals have had a lot of balls bounce their way. Just remember, if it wasn't for a blown coverage in that game with the Bucs would have probably come back and won that game. And remember too, the 49ers had the Rams done. If Jaquiski Tartt drops that wide open pick, they're up 17-7. There's a good chance the 49ers walk out of that game with that win. So the Rams have also had the ball bounce their way too. And let's not also discount that Bengals pass rush is coming alive. I mean, they're starting to come alive at the right time.
I can't debate you on that. Absolutely. Yeah. They've been playing phenomenal defense, and also the Bengals defense as a whole. The way they come back like that and seal the game. And I said bounce their way but at the end of the day, like Adam said too, you got to seize the moment, and they seize the moment, and they're coming alive. Absolutely.
Both teams are.
Absolutely.
The secondary of the Bengals is doing a great job. I mean, I hate Eli Apple. I can't stand the dude, but the guy has made a couple of clutch plays at times, a couple of nice tackles. Awuzie has done a pretty good job out there. Trey Flowers, as a hybrid cornerback/safety, has done a good job covering some tight ends in the AFC. I mean, they've done a pretty solid job with the guys that they've had out there in that secondary. Jesse Bates has done well. Von Bell at times have made some plays, so you got to give credit where credit is due. And that Bengals defense is also making the plays when they have the chance to make them. So, I mean, it's not even just the offensive side of the ball that's getting it done. The defense is also stepping up and making some plays too, as well as on the Rams side as well. But like you guys were mentioning before, can guys like Darius Williams, can guys like Dante Dion, can these guys be able to man up against Tyler Boyd, against T. Higgins? Can they stop Joe Mixon from making these big runs and slow these guys down? Or is that going to be the biggest difference? Because I think these other Bengals receivers can take over the game on their one-on-one matchups. Because unless they're going to single up and hope that Jamar Chase gets taken out of the game by Jalen Ramsey, they might have to double at least one or two of these other guys to try to take them out of the game, because it's going to be hard to be able to do that against these Bengals receivers. Have all shown they're talented enough to take over the game 1 point at a time. So, and then Uzomah, we have to figure Uzomah, if that guy can come back, that is Burrow's safety valve over the middle. Yeah. If he can come back in the Super Bowl, I mean, he's got an MCL sprain, I believe, so there's a chance he probably might miss the game, but if he could still be able to play, that's a big weapon over the middle for Burrow to use in those third down situations. So we have to see if he's able to play. It's another guy they have to try to take out of the game. The same thing goes for Tyler Higbee on the other side. I think he as well as an MCL sprain. So those tight ends, they're both banged up right now, but if they can find a way to get themselves in the game, they're going to be key contributors for each offense, for that safety valve third down completions that each team might need. So that could be also a big key in the games as well.
That's absolutely facts. Hell yeah. Anybody want to add in? Mac, I believe you were saying that Zach Taylor did a good job on scheming Mixon open with a bad offensive line, and also that, Jalen Ramsey can cover Chase, but Chase will probably win some of those battles, and they're going to probably scheme to get Boyd and those other receivers open as well. That's what I got out of you, Mac, but if you want the mic back, be ahead. If the guest is, the mic is yours.
Well, no, that's what I was talking about. Can you hear me now? Is it breaking up?
Yeah, no, it's better, right. A little bit better now. Yeah. Yes. So Joe Burrow. Are you?
No, I was just gonna say, I was just saying. That's all I was talking about. Those receivers, man, gonna be makers in this game. Like I said, there's Jalen Ramsey. that 3 legit seasons out of Adam said he poised to have a really big day.
Yeah, and that's why it's like I look at it like, Joe Burrow, man, he refuses to lose, like you guys been saying. That defense been playing strong. But I just think that I I don't think that the moment will be too big for them, but I just think that the Rams will be the more prepared team. They have more veterans on their team, and I think they'll be more prepared. I love it that we have a whole week to
Well, as
discuss
they
that
say,
topic.
Zion, this is why they play the games. So
Yes.
we will know the fate of either team come 9 o'clock Sunday afternoon after you're dousing your last beer or eating your last wing or doing your last jig. You'll see it, and I think it's great theater. I know it's not the sexiest matchup,
Mhm.
um, but to me, I'm excited. I People ask me, "Hey, you're going to watch Super Bowl?" I always watch the Super Bowl because of the NFL. To me, is like a great TV show. You got to watch the season finale. You know what I mean? You don't just turn it off because your character died off mid-season. Right?
Facts.
You try
Yes.
to
Yes.
finish it and you take it to the end, and then you hope
Yes.
that the next season is going to have more surprises and more new characters and things like that. The off season is going to be fun, and once the Super Bowl ends, that last gun goes off and the confetti flies. They hold up the Lombardi. You reset, you recalibrate, because at that point everyone's 0-0, and let the 12-5 cockamamie talks begin, because everyone's going to say their team is the best team of football, regardless of if they played it down. And hey, you know what? That's what you earned during the off season. You earned that little bit of clout. So to me, it's more of a party and a celebration to
Yes.
culminate the end of the year, and you just hope that your team's in it and in it to win it every year. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. And before we get to that Super Bowl MVP prediction question, I just wanted to point out too, it's inspirational. You got a team in the Bengals that had 6 wins the last 2 seasons, and they come out there and they get themselves into the playoffs. But not only that, get themselves to the Super Bowl, coming with only 6 wins in the last 2 seasons. It's absolutely phenomenal, and that's inspirational for all these other teams, like the Giants, to see that they competed this season and they got to the promised land. I'm not saying we're gonna get to the Super Bowl four from it, but I'm just saying that's a team that had, I believe, 2 wins or 4 wins last season and 2 wins before that, so it's 6 wins, and
And that makes the
that's
NFL great.
phenomenal.
That makes the NFL great.
Absolutely,
Worst to first is what we talk about
absolutely.
every off season. So, but we can get into that question, I guess. Super Bowl MVP.
I'll start it off real fast. I was gonna give it to Donald, but I think it's gonna go to Matthew Stafford, so I'm gonna say Matthew Stafford.
Woo! I mean, man, if we went to Donald, man, I don't remember the last. I think
Yeah, yeah.
Barry
It's
Brown
going
was
to
the
Matthew
last,
Stafford.
or the guy from Tampa Bay,
He's,
Eric Brown, I think
I
was the last.
like the Bengals will. You know, I have Aaron Donald being disruptive, but not to the point where the Bengals are gonna score some points. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like I'm
right.
giving it to Matthew Stafford.
Well, Matthew Stafford, well, then I guess I'll go with Joe Burrow. I mean, that's a lame pick, but and you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm not even going to say Joe Burrow. I'm going to do it what the Pittsburgh Steelers did. I'm going to go Jamar Chase as the MVP of the Super Bowl 56 because he'll just take a play and be like a Debo Samuel. They'll run him on a reverse. They'll get a couple big runs, make a couple clutch plays. Obviously, it always goes to the quarterback. I know people, but this is to be a little fun, right? Have a little, intrigue in watching the Super Bowl, see if it actually comes to fruition. But I'm going to go just for fun with Jamar Chase.
I
And
like it.
I'll also have a little fun with this one because it's so easy to just say Joe Burrow, but I think I'm gonna go with Joe Mixon because I feel like this
I like it.
Rams defense will be so fixated on stopping these receivers on the outside that it could open up things for Joe Mixon to make a little bit of noise too, man. I think if he can have a little 100-yard night, he get a couple touchdowns on the board. Looking at him as Super Bowl MVP.
I like
Why
it.
not?
Jeff.
Jeff?
I'm I'm gonna go a little bit outside the box. I think I mentioned it on the last stream that I'm gonna go with either Trey Hendrickson or Sam Hubbard, the two defensive ends on the Bengals, because I think these guys. Andrew Whitworth's coming off an injury, an ankle injury, so who knows how steady he's going to be at the left tackle position. Havenstein has been pretty good at the right side, so I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for these guys to get a better pass rush against him. But Whitworth is coming off an injury. Same thing if they have Noteboom go in there for a couple of steps. He's banged up. So I think there's a good chance that both Hendrickson and Hubbard could take a good advantage on the outside against that left side of the Rams offensive line. And, I mean, we've seen defensive ends wreck games in the Super Bowl. So I'm going outside the box and saying one of those two Bengals defensive ends will walk away with that MVP.
And the Toyota truck.
And the Toyota truck, yeah.
What's going on, Lou? I'm glad you joined the stream. Well,
What's
fast
going on?
before you go,
Yo.
his
What's
squad,
up,
your
Adam?
Super
What's
Bowl
up,
MVP.
man? What up, Hit?
What's
What up,
going on,
Mike?
Lou?
Let's
What
get
up,
it,
what
and
up?
then you can pass the mic to Lou.
Yeah, I
5
got
and
you.
6.
For me, man, I was initially gonna choose Jamar Chase, but we know how that shit be working, so I'm gonna choose Joe Burrow. Someone gotta throw the man the ball, so that's my Super Bowl MVP pick right there.
Wow.
I love it.
I like it, squad. Straight to the
So,
point.
Mike is yours,
Thank you.
Lou, and thank you so much. Everybody, please subscribe to all these amazing contents here. Logan, if you can please do me a kind favor, sir, and drop everybody's links. And Lou,
I
the
didn't
mic is yours.
I didn't catch the topic. Give me a quick
Um,
30-second review.
All
Sorry.
right, so topic Bengals versus the Rams, and then after that, the Vance had a question. He wants to know your Super Bowl MVP prediction after you give your Rams versus Bengals prediction.
Oh shit, Joe Burrow for
What's
MVP.
going on?
Um,
Deception.
Yes, sir.
Joe Burrow for MVP, and I think I was looking at it from a couple different angles because at first I was thinking that the Rams defense was going to come out there and be too stout, but after watching him come back and carry the team on his back and drive down the field multiple times in a big game, AFC Championship game, the kid's ready. The kid is ready, man. I'm telling you, he about to go out there and ball the fuck out. The Rams gonna get out there and look paranoid and shocked because he gonna come out there A1 like steak sauce, baby. I'm telling you.
Lou, I think you got the two teams mixed up. I think you mean the
That's
Rams,
the
right?
quote of the night, man. A1 steak sauce for Joe Burrow.
I love it.
A1, son, like perfect credit, my nigga.
Nah, I'm the only
850
one.
score.
I'm the only one going for Rams on this stream. But continue at your point, Lou.
No, listen, I'm not pulling for the Bengals. I'm
No,
not pulling for either one. I'm a Giants fan.
Absolutely.
I'd rather see Bin Laden send a damn bomb. But I mean,
Stop.
Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Christ.
woo,
Oh,
fucking
man.
Bengal Tigers. You might get fucked by no damn tiger. His name's Shere Khan. I'm just saying.
Man.
They should,
Joe
they should-
Burrow.
They should let
Joe
the Tiger King out for this game.
Oh God.
A1
Joe Burrow
steak
gonna go
sauce.
missing if they do.
Man.
But nah, I just wanted to come in and support. My battery's almost dead, but I'm gonna try to hop back on the PC. But I got to get these boys regulated because one is 6 years old, hopped up on sugar, and the other one's 5 months old, fiending for breast milk. So I'm dealing with two junkies.
Oh, that's funny. I appreciate you always coming on and supporting my friend. That's what's up.
Nah, yeah.
MVP
And,
prediction.
I'm gonna watch that video you just sent me a little while ago, Adam. I was actually at the Chinese restaurant when I got it, so I ain't watch it yet, but I'm definitely gonna watch it.
All right.
And
Cool.
Mac, thanks for rocking with us last night on the boxing match, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man.
Can't keep this damn cigarette lit. Damn wind keep blowing my light off.
Leather to the Face live on G Nations and Big Pat talking.
Well, thank you for coming on, Lou. It's always a pleasure. Love your takes. Go sub up to Lou, G Nation Inside Sports. He's got a mock draft that's out. I don't know how often he's going to do them, but they're pretty insightful, and they give you a good insight on what may happen. He has a good trade in there that I commented on. You guys go watch and see if you agree with him and if you like the haul that we get for that trade.
Absolutely.
And listen, at some point tonight, we need to get on a private link or whatever, even if it's just the guys on the panel right here, so we can run through some tips and shit to help you guys with your channel. Zion already know what I'm talking about. It's a little program that I showed him the other day.
Look, you talking about the John?
Yeah.
I need you to show me how to navigate through that thing the right
That's
way.
why I
You know
said
what I mean?
we need to get a little private stream
Look,
after
I did-
everybody's done.
I did my one video and it's got a lot more love than I'm used to getting. and I know it's not a coincidence.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. We're
That
getting to
shit
a
helps.
private one.
I'm telling you. And everybody's channel will start rocking. We're about
Absolutely. And
to put some Nas tanks on the bottom of our shit and send it off into space.
There you go. Just
congratulations to our man Big Pat Talking Sports getting his 1,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to point that out too. Congratulations, Big Pat. Let's
Yep.
get it.
I'm right
All
behind him.
working
I'm
on
at
the grinding.
700. I'm almost
Let's
at
get
700.
it. Absolutely. Make sure you guys go sub up to Hit Squad Productions as well. Great content.
Sub
Big
all these
Giants
guys,
fan.
man.
All these guys. Yes, yes. If you're watching this after the fact, the links will be down in the description below.
Because if you don't sub to Adam, Mac, Hit Squad, Mike, and Zion, and me, I'm coming. I'm coming with Tanya Harding's ex-boyfriend, and we're going Nancy Kerrigan,
my
y'all.
God.
Oh, the spirit of the Olympics. You had to go down that road.
Oh my God.
Oh,
We about to
man.
come on some Ike shit.
All
Eat the
right.
cake, anime.
Well,
Push-
there goes the
put-
train off the tracks again.
Push thumbs up, anime. Oh shit!
We just
I
got
love it.
But the MVP was Joe Burrow. In case you missed it, I think that boy's gonna go out there. I don't think the game is too big for him. I don't think the lights are too bright for him. He proved that in the AFC Championship game. Although he was going against Jimmy G and not Matthew Stafford, I think he's gonna go out there and prove everybody who said he wasn't elite wrong. Because I was one of them. I said, yeah, I think the kid's got all the talent, but he hasn't been around long enough. So if he comes out there, carries the team on his back, and wins the Lombardi, I'm gonna have to eat crow.
Well,
It is
get
what
that
it is.
A1 Get that A1 sauce ready because you might be eating some crow.
I'm gonna eat a New York strip with some A1 on it.
Let's get it.
All right, Ludo.
I love it. I was gonna say that UFC 271 is gonna be on my channel next Saturday
Yeah,
night.
the
Make
12th.
sure you guys
I'ma
get
be
that.
there.
Yes. Special short time, 7:30. We're gonna miss the first probably round of the first fight, but we'll be there for the rest of the night.
You should have called.
Everybody's
You should have
welcome.
called the one last night because
That was on
Nate-
Nate's channel. Nate did it.
Nate started and then left to go call the game with Nate with Logan.
Oh, the Knicks game on Slade's channel.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, well, I was at work. That's why I didn't see. I gave him the fight nights, but if you want to take the fight nights, I'll call fight nights with you. But yeah, I know you got your boxing thing too, but we can figure that out after.
But no, I mean, originally I was doing both, but then when Nate
Yeah.
said he was interested in it, I just passed it off. You know, I ain't greedy.
Yo, Zion,
Same
are you
thing.
guys gonna be doing anything for the NBA trade deadline or something? You know, because that's gonna be coming up soon. That gets a lot of buzz.
I was
Yeah,
about
we
to
was-
say,
Traded?
no cap. I was just about to say that I was out of questions. I was gonna turn it over to my co-host Adam and Mac, and I believe they wanted to talk some NBA discussion, so we can begin. Yeah, I think Adam and Mac, if you guys are gonna do any videos on NBA,
Hold up. Shout out to
Hello,
Eli real
man.
quick.
Eli,
Shout out to Eli real quick.
How you
Don't
doing,
grab it. Don't grab the phone.
Hey,
Don't
Eli.
grab the phone.
Hey,
Hello, Eli.
handsome gentleman.
baby,
Hello.
Eli.
How are you?
Oh, I love
You're
it.
looking at the phone like I'm on TV. Son? What am I doing on TV, son?
Baby Eli, your favorites.
My 3-month-old, he grabs the mic. And holds it. I'm like, what are you
I
doing?
love it. I love it.
All right, y'all go ahead back to what y'all was doing. I'm gonna charge the phone and hop on the PC.
Eli, what is that you say?
What up,
There you
Jay?
go.
So basically, the NBA for us is great. We're going to do a lot of stuff coming up. The NFL usually takes up everything because it's just so encompassing, right? And the NBA has many different games you can watch throughout. So right now, I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give you my story.
Now, I feel sorry for you, Adam. My bad.
Listen.
No, I
grew up-
know it's
I grew up
great.
in
I'm a
the
Nets fan too.
I liked the Knicks. I knew of the Knicks. You know, I was like, all right, kind of a Knick loyalist at that point. When I moved to New Jersey, it was the first time I had a team in state that I lived in. So I thought, why not be a New Jersey Net fan, right? I understood their history. They came from Long Island. They moved over here.
Thank you,
You
the
know, they
fans.
did all their stuff. They were in New York at one point. So then, this is how loyal I am. In a blizzard, I go to see their game when they're a 12-win season. That's loyalty. Right? That we got the ticket for 25 cents or something like that. So we had to go. So, you know, we come out of the stadium, the arena, and I'm telling you, it looked like I was in Star Wars or something like that. And these plows were coming with these space lights on, and I'm driving Illumina through the snow trying to get back to the game. The Lakers are in town. You can't not go see the Lakers. So Kobe Bryant was on the team. that year, so we went out to see him. He
I
basically
remember those days. I remember those days. Travis Outlaw, Johan Petro,
Right. He got
Anthony Burrow.
he got pulled from the game early. They were beating the crap out of the Nets. Obviously, that team was terrible. But hey, so now they moved to Brooklyn. They stayed over there. I followed them. My favorite player in the NBA is Kevin Durant, so he's on my favorite team. So let's go. I mean, this week we're going to get into it. The All-Star game is going to be happening soon. I always love the dunk contest, so we'll make a video, or maybe we'll do our reactions to those coming up. You know, because it's always fun.
You should even live stream it, Adam. Honestly,
we could live stream it
live
too.
stream it on your channel.
Depends on what we're doing. You know, I got kids, so I got to take care of them. You know, they come first, but I'll be there in the
live stream it with your kids, bro. I'm just joking.
Yeah, if you want to hear screaming all day, or all that stuff. But anyways, yeah. My prediction of the NBA, I'm like, listen, man, I can't really get it. The NBA is going to start heating up now, right? Because the second half of the season, the 40 games, it's the race for the playoffs. But the problem that I have with the NBA sometimes is that the end has always been kind of predicted for you, right? This is why the NFL is so captivating. Nobody thought the Bengals would be in the Super Bowl, right? But you know that if the Lakers are in it or have a big team or one of those big teams are in it, they're always going to be fighting to the end. That's why I thought last year's finals was one of the best I've ever watched, because the Milwaukee Bucks were doing things called going to the rim. They weren't just settling for jump shots. They were dunking on cats. They were really playing physical ball, and I really loved watching them play. So, I'm intrigued by that team. I want to see what the Nets are going to do and finish up this second half of the season. I know Kyrie is in and out of lineup. Durant's playing above the X's and O's, but how long is that going to last? When your team's good, it's always the other foot that drops. Unfortunately, the Knicks, they are the Knicks, but hey, if you're a Knicks fan, you can't be that angry because you're getting quality basketball from a team that was not good for the last few years.
And Adam, don't forget, we were a Durant toe from going to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. That small toe from going to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how close we were. Without Irving, without Harden, we're that close to making it over to the Eastern Conference Finals.
You know what's funny about that? It's like we take for granted our team's getting there, right? Our team's getting to the playoffs. They think it comes every year. And it could be the slightest toe that puts you in or out of the game, right? I mean, look at the Mets. They went to the World Series like in 2015. They haven't sniffed the playoffs since, right? And the Yankees are still looking for that elusive World Series title. The Knicks are trying to always fight to just be relevant, right? The Brooklyn Nets come up short. It seems like when you put James Harden and Kevin Durant on the team together, they seem to come up short in big spots, especially James Harden.
Call back if you can.
Because James Harden, to me, as much as he's on the team, I wouldn't have picked him up because to me, he just chokes in a big spot. He's like Kirk Cousins of the NBA.
I would have kept Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. We had something there with those two guys. I don't know why they traded those guys away.
I like Karis LeVert. I liked him, and I like Jared Allen. I mean, you need bigs in the NBA, man. You need bigs to come in and kind of be your bruisers, right? To take a few shots here, grab rebounds here. I just think he had potential to do that. And then guess what happens? You go up against, the Greek Freak, and you have no bigs to play against him. You have nobody to grab rebounds. The thing that I hate about the NBA sometimes is like they go down and they chuck and duck, right? They just chuck and then run down the floor. Sometimes I want to see a little bit more slower pace. A little guy gets blocked over here,
Yeah, I
Back
agree.
Jersey Nets had Derek Coleman and the late great Dallas Frederick. Well, I actually came in when they had the badass yellow boy, Kenyon Martin, Stephon Marbury, Jason Kidd era. That's when they were really good. When I came from when I moved from Connecticut to where I am now in Jersey, I will keep the location incognito, but you can know the state. So I was there. They had the team there, and when I had the team, they had the draft. There was a 2000 draft. They had Kenyon Martin coming in. They were just building their team, right? They just brought in Jason Kidd, and he basically, changed that whole team around because, without Jason Kidd, they're not in the NBA Finals. Of course, they meet the freaking Lakers, and who knows if they were cheating back then. They had that ref that was shaving points and all that stuff. So who knows what happened right? But I remember watching them against the finals, and Shaq steps right on Todd McCullough's chest, and they call a foul on Todd McCullough. I'm like, yo. I look at my brother. I'm like, yo, the dude's on the ground. He gets basically a size 21 in his chest, and he's the guy getting a foul on. Like, what is he doing? Asking for help. That's your foul. He gets stepped on by Shaq, and you're the one getting the foul call. It was that NBA Finals still makes me bitter because even though the Nets pretty much didn't have a chance. It was just some things back then where it was like the Lakers always dominate. I mean, I remember the Sacramento Kings going up against the Lakers, and they freaking dog bagging the Sacramento Kings. Fouls late in the game, calling these phantom calls. You're like, what is going on? Shaq just running over Vlade Divac, no problems. I mean, I miss Shaq, but, they gave him a little too much leeway with his elbows. And we don't really have a Shaq now. I mean, I was funny. My brother, he turned on the NBA the other day, and he was like, I thought I was watching the WNBA. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, they're skinny, their hair, they got dreads and everything like that. I'm mistaken it for the WNBA. I'm like, yeah, man, it's like, nobody's like Jordan anymore. No one's just yoked out and really, except for LeBron James, but he's on HGH. But that's a story for another day.
Adam, I think it was the year after when we played against the Spurs. I think that was our best chance to win that the NBA championship. I thought we had a good chance of taking that team down. I think it was Game 6?
Yeah,
we were up by at least 10, 15 points with a chance to either bring it back to. Were we the home team that series? I forget if we were the home team or if it was us, San Antonio.
I think it was. I don't think we were. I think you got to think they were in the Western Conference, probably a better record than the Nets.
Yeah, I think it was David Robinson's last year, I believe, in the league.
Oh, the Twins was there.
Yeah, and we had a legit good shot to take that team down. I mean, Jefferson, Martin, Kittles, Harris, a kid running the show over there. We had a legit damn good shot. I loved that whole team. That team was just fun to watch.
They were above the rim. They were above the rim. Okay,
exactly.
You would have kid running down court, throwing it off the backboard. You're like, what is he doing? Kenyon Martin flying right by him, or Jefferson flying right by him and dunking it.
And Kittles and Lucius Harris throwing it up for 3-point shots.
Oh
man,
man,
that team was legit fun to watch, and I thought
that was the NBA
we had a chance to win it.
And I know we're going off on a tangent, but I love the NBA playoffs.
Oh, you guys are good.
Definitely, as the season goes, we get more into it. I know for me, I'm full football, so I catch net games when I can and Nick games when I can. But now that the season's over, I definitely will be watching more, so we'll be getting more takes on this show. And then, of course, the fun stuff happens. So you got the All-Star game, you're going to have the playoffs, the NBA playoffs in certain atmospheres. Like Golden State, man, that building, Oracle, they call it Oracle for a reason, man. There's a reason why I love watching them in the playoffs, because that fan base goes crazy. Oklahoma City, they're nuts, right? I mean, and Brooklyn's fun, too, because they say Brooklyn. So that's what I love about the playoffs in the NBA. You know what I mean? I think they're the second best playoffs to me. First would be the NFL, because you have to play. You can't play if you play your bad game, you're going home, right?
Yeah,
there's no makeup game. There's no, hey, we're going to get them in game 2, guys. You know what I mean? And then, I think every sports playoffs are very exciting. Hockey would be my third, and then baseball's fourth. Sometimes baseball games can go into the wee hours of the morning, man. And there ain't no way like a 17-inning game going to like 1 a.m., man. Baseball sometimes boring enough, but 17 innings,
I love that. Levan says that the Phoenix Suns will win the NBA title.
I hope so, man. They got job last year, I do feel. I feel like they just ran out of gas, man.
I think they got a good shot in the West to get back to the finals and pull it out this year. Even the Bucks have a decent chance to repeat if they can keep all their guys healthy. But the Nets, then this is a big rest of the season and playoff run. The Nets have got to find a way. If they don't, I don't think they're going to trade Harden, but if they got to find a way to keep Durant, Harden, and Irving, they got to get these guys on the basketball court, and these guys have got to start gelling pretty quick, and they got to have themselves a playoff run, because it's a short window with these guys. And Durant, he's already committed long term. There's been a lot of rumors speculating out there that this Harden might not want to be here after this year. Like he's looking at Philadelphia as a possibility. I mean, who knows with all the rumors going around.
Did you see that trade rumor about Harden and Ben Simmons?
God, I don't want Ben Simmons anywhere near my team. I do not want Ben Simmons anywhere near the Nets.
That was a thing a couple of days ago, man.
My problem is I don't want James Harden anywhere near my team. The guy is soft.
I don't either. I don't want him either. I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was a mistake when they traded all these picks and traded away Jared Allen, a promising young center who's now blossoming over there with Cleveland, and Karis LeVert, with him, it was always about injuries. This guy, can he stay healthy?
Yeah,
He's
he's
starting
good.
to show out some of his production too. So I thought it was a bad idea to break up that young core that they had
Well,
over there. And the
I
only guy
get,
we
I
have
get
left is
why they did it. I get why they did it. The problem is, to me, is James Harden as an overall basketball player is all flash, no dash. Okay, he'll flash
exactly.
in the regular season, but when I need you, when my guys are injured or knocked out of the game, and you're the elite scorer and you don't come through, that's when I get upset. It's like when if you were a Knicks fan or an LA Clipper fan watching Jamal Crawford back in the day. You're like, oh man, this guy can drop 40 every night, but he goes 40 and then 0, 25 and then 5, like, and he never is consistent. Then in the playoffs, he doesn't show up. And it's like, you remember, Jeff, Keith Van Horn, he got called out by Kenya Martin because he would be great all season. Come playoffs, he can't hit a 3-pointer for his life wide open.
Exactly. Joe Harris, this past postseason last year, Joe Harris was supposed to be called on, one of the top 3-point shooters in the NBA. What did he do in the playoffs? He bricked every single shot, even the wide open shots he had. He had 2 times in that game 7 where he had a chance to hit the big 3, and he bricked him the entire series when they needed him. Joe Harris is that type of guy that when the Nets needed him, especially when Harden and Irving went down with injuries, Joe Harris did not show up. That's exactly what I think of, and a lot of Nets fans have complained about. A guy that needed to step up when we pay him all that money in the offseason to hit those 3-point shots, especially when you're the number 1 rated 3-point shooter in the regular season. You come up small. That's the type of guy that you need to step up, and he came up small when you needed him. And that's, I think, a big reason why they brought in Patty Mills to take up that spot.
Well, see, the thing is, for me, with the Nets, it seems like every time you've got the star like a Durant or something on there, when they get into a situation, they kind of bog down and kind of just force the ball to Durant. Well, where do you think the defense is going? They obviously know that you're going to go to the best player on the court. So, like you said, you need guys to knock down shots. And that's why a lot of these teams, that's why Greg Popovich's team is in the playoffs and they have a solid team. I'm not counting them out because those guys step up in the playoffs. You know what I mean? He made, how many guys Popovich made a hero in San Antonio, guys who can go there and never eat a steak, have to pay for a steak again. You know what I mean? Like Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. These guys were good players, but they're role players. Danny Green, you know what I mean? Like hitting big shots. I forget what guy there was, Mason or whatever, back in the day when he was playing. It's like when you have a good coach.
Mason, I think.
Well, yeah, when you have a good coach in the NBA, it does a lot more than in the NFL. Because in the NFL, you can do a lot of different things with scheme, but in the NBA, if you have a solid coach, you can really make the role players better. And it's like in the NFL, right? We're talking about the Super Bowl. The Cincinnati Bengals are buying into whatever Zach Taylor is selling right now, whatever the case may be. And so for me, it's just like the NBA is so much different because if your role players don't come through any given night, it doesn't matter how many guys you have. It's if Durant's not producing because he has a bad night, he's human, and your role players aren't producing. That's what happened last year in the playoffs. Kevin Durant can't do it all, and even when he did damn near do it all, the Bucks role players were playing out of their minds. I mean, the Bucks role players last year, I felt like they couldn't miss. And the Nets players, I felt like they couldn't find the rim if you paid them. And you do pay them. But, I mean, they just couldn't find the rim.
Yeah.
Giannis took the championships to Chick-fil-A. Just want to add in that.
What's going on, Logan?
I'm good, man. What about
Hell
you?
yeah, I can't wait, Adam. I'm sorry, I can't wait, Ash. Let's get it. Good stuff.
Good stuff, Ash.
How are you doing today, Logan? Jeff?
I'll show you part of my stream. I did a Madden stream. It didn't go well.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Jeff, you was gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say, like, a lot of people I know have been I know it's like become a basketball stream all of a sudden, but I know a lot of people have been getting on the Knicks, especially some of the players that they acquired, like Julius Randle, thinking that this guy, he had a great year last year and he's gonna become a superstar. He's been a career good player for a long time, but I mean, did a lot of people really think this guy was going to become the next great superstar on this team? I thought he was a good player, but I didn't think he was going to be like, the type of player that Knicks fans were hoping he was going to be.
I think
I think that they were going to think that R.J. Barrett was going to take that next leap. You know, after seeing John Morant, what he's doing, and he's in that same draft class, then maybe Barrett would take that next big leap. And I think it's just, I don't know if it's just the guys that were playing well last year, like Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, and some of these other guys that played well last year. They're just not having the same seasons as they are this year. Obviously, Randall taking a step back. Kemba Walker just seems like a player that's he might be just past his prime. Fournier is just a three guy that just chucks the ball up too much, not really good on defense.
I mean,
I think the Knicks just they just
They
regressed
not
big time.
utilized correctly because think about it. He's only 6'8" and he's 27 years old, and you're saying he's past his prime. I mean, if you're past your
I
prime,
meant Kemba Walker, not Randall.
oh, okay. Kemba, Kemba, I like him, but you know, maybe you're right. Maybe he is past his prime. You know, Kemba Walker, he did a lot in Charlotte. You know, I mean, to me, he should be a bench player because he coming off the bench for me is exactly what I would need guys like that. That's what good teams have. They have that crazy little bench scorer that comes out of nowhere in the playoffs sometimes, and your second point guard is a facilitator. I mean, you know, I don't know. I go back in the day and I watch like the 6 men that come off the bench, and sometimes that helps put a team over the top. You know, I mean, like look at Steve Kerr for the Bulls. He wasn't great. He was in there. He would hit shots.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
From the outside looking in, how does Heat Nation look?
Zion, shut your mouth.
You love the. How are you a Heat fan? Don't you live in L.A.?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you live over in
I grew up
California?
in Hawaii. I had my options.
Oh,
You live in
okay.
L.A. and you're a Heat fan?
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Hey, he doesn't live in L.A. He lives on the West Coast.
LA.
Okay?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm a fan of no one.
I live 2 hours away from LA.
You don't like
4
the team
hours.
of that?
He's a bandwagon.
I'm
You're
not
just
a
an
bandwagon.
NBA fan,
No,
Matt?
I just like players. I respect some of the
You're
some of
like
the
me.
great talents, but I don't just be like I don't like any one particular team. I'm not really a fan of today's NBA, to be honest, anymore. I kind of lost interest in the NBA because it's just a softer game now, and
Everybody wants to join everybody's team. Like who doesn't?
and that too.
Yeah.
I can't get down with all that. It's just too much every year. I grew up watching NBA in an era where you didn't see mega superstars like James Harden and Kevin Durant and LeBron James. You didn't see players like that bouncing around team to team to team to team. You saw players have sustained careers with franchises and build true legacies. And I'm not a fan. I don't know. Call me too old school, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm an old head. I just stuck in my ways. I can't help it. I love the old school NBA game. I love the era of the big man. That doesn't exist anymore. All we got is little finesse, soft ass big man in the league now. It's just not the same anymore. We don't have no bangers down there in the paint. Ain't nobody
It's a
down there.
three-point shooting.
Right.
Now.
You see, Mac, real fast.
Great point. You bring up a great point. LeBron James is 6 foot freaking 8, 260 pounds, and the guy prefers to shoot a perimeter jump shot than take his heavy ass and back somebody down when he's got the matchup. And he doesn't have the moves around the rim to do it. Back in the day, Karl Malone used to use some elbows and bang, 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 and then boom, he's dunking on it. That's why I liked Milwaukee last year because they played physical. They showed me what the NBA was about. Alley-oops, dunks. You know, in your face, like, yeah, I just blocked the shit out of you.
I can't disagree with your guys' point.
Three. No bangers on that offense.
You know, I can't disagree with your guys' points, but then again, LeBron did us bring Miami Heat 2 championships back to back. So you know what I'm saying?
Oh my
I'm
God.
forever indebted in King James.
LeBron,
Let's go.
LeBron James was so sad in Miami that he hated being the villain. He hated being the villain.
His friend.
That's like Hulk Hogan saying, "Oh, I can't be part of the NWO because I don't want people to be booming." Like, give me a break, LeBron James. It wasn't even his team. It was the Wade team. We all know that. Don't try to pull the wool over my eyes.
Because Wade wanted with Shaq. The thing is, after he left, dude, the salary cap in Miami was so messed up for the last 7 years. It was just in a bad state. And now that we finally got out of that and we signed Whiteside and we had Gordon for a little bit, didn't really like them. But now that with this new roster, I'm really enjoying it. Let's get it.
I like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. There's some nice players over there. And you know what?
Absolutely.
Spoelstra deserves the credit he deserves because he's a very, very good coach. A lot of people thought that
Before,
he was
yes,
just playing off
absolutely,
those
Ash.
3 superstars when he was over there at that point. But Spoelstra has done a really good job coaching that team.
Well, that's
Yes,
his
one of the
mentor,
best.
Pat Riley.
I think I'm not trying to be biased, but I think Miami Heat's one of the better organizations in the league.
If KD can win a championship in Brooklyn, I will be one of the first people to build a statue in Brooklyn for that man, because I would love to see a Nets championship, something I've been dying to see since I was young.
Oh man, I might be helping you build that statue.
I have been dying to
Jeff,
see.
Jeff, get me the location, the street address you're going to be at. I'll bring the hammer and the chisel, and we can carve out ourselves a statue.
I just wanted to finish
right
off
there
at
on
this
that
point.
spot.
I know they were young, but remember that time when LeBron beat Westbrook, Gordon, and KD, all on the same team?
Yeah, but I mean, a
James,
lot of people get beaten. I mean, LeBron James, great. He's a great player, but you know how rubber bandy the NBA became in the rule because they can't be strict because they're too worried about this guy. Guy has an ego. He's an egomaniac. He's soft when it comes to closing the game. Gun to your head. There is no way I'm putting LeBron James with my life on the line inside 2 minutes to hit a big bucket. I'm not doing it. Give me Larry Bird. I know that guy's going to knock it down. I'm like, yo, give me Larry Bird. I'm going to see you tomorrow because this guy ain't blowing my brains out. You put LeBron James in that, he might start biting his nails. His knees might start rattling because he's going to the foul line. I mean, listen, LeBron James has done what he's done, and I think he's captivated a lot.
He's copying Adam.
I've had this more than Adam. What?
No, yeah, he had it longer than me. I didn't realize it. I just put it on. So, hey,
we're twins. It's perfect. Yeah.
But the point
shooters, I trust Kevin Durant more than I do LeBron James.
LeBron James,
closing out games.
Yes, statistically might be the most clutch player, but I'm talking about life on the line here. Who am I? They asked Pat Riley that question. They say inside 2 minutes, who's getting the ball to? He said, I'm going to Michael Jordan. Okay, gun to your head, game on the line. Who are you going to? He said, I'm going to Larry Bird because I know that guy's going to get me out of a jam. LeBron James, I've seen too many times not get me out of a jam. And I know there's LeBron fever going on here, but to me, the best player in the NBA, and people are going to laugh at me, I think it's Kevin Durant. I just believe that's Kevin Durant. The boy can shoot from anywhere on the gym. He's just got spider webs for arms. You know what I mean? Everyone likes the flashy guard, but that guy is doing things that big man shouldn't be doing in the NBA. And
he's a good defensive player too. Good defensive player as well.
He's not. I mean, LeBron. The thing about LeBron James is the NBA needed a star to gravitate towards when Jordan and Kobe were, hitting their tail end. And LeBron, here comes this kid. He's wearing 23, already got the parallels to Jordan, everything like that, coming out of high school. And then you watch his game. And then you watch the game of, like, Michael Jordan, or you watch the game of these older players, and you're like, what's the difference? The difference is the rules have changed. You get away with a lot more, like, flopping nowadays and ticky-tack fouls than you used to. I mean, the things that LeBron James does, he might not be doing with a guy like Karl Malone or a big enforcer in the middle. Dennis Rodman would eat him up. Yeah. Dennis Rodman was a tough son of a gun. He's not going to let you dunk.
Charles Oakley. Imagine
Rick
Mahorn. A guy like Charles Oakley.
I mean,
Patrick Ewing.
Rick Mahorn.
Oh my God.
Anthony Mason.
The bad boy Pistons would put a hurting on a lot of these players that we know right now. I mean, even Scottie Pippen would guard the crap out of LeBron James. I mean, that's how good Pippen is. We're not going to know because he's in the shadow of Jordan because Jordan is over there. But if you know basketball, you know Pippen was a better all-around defender than Jordan. He probably was a better overall player in terms of
all-time defender with Scottie Pippen.
Right. Absolutely. He probably was a better overall player. But the thing is, Jordan was so magnificent in what he did. There were minor flaws in his game. But the only guy that probably could guard Jordan one-on-one is Scottie Pippen. And the second guy would probably be Kobe. Because Kobe was that good. We don't recognize
Kobe's in the lane of his own.
Shout out to my boy Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars used to do okay against Jordan too back in the day. I'm just saying.
Joe Dumars was good too. Nice guard. Liked him, but that's what I'm saying right now. The NBA is wide open. That's why Antetokounmpo is doing well because he's a freak. No one knows how to guard him. You can't put a center on him. He's going to run by you. You can't put a heavy forward on him because he'll take the 3-point shot and drag you out of the lane. And then he's got some dribble and some handle, and of course he's a finisher at the rim. You know what I mean? So when you're like that, it's hard. I look at generational players like LT. You put him in this era, he's probably getting 20 sacks a year. because he's just that incredible. I mean, there's a play. Again, I was watching the Montana documentary, and Montana in the '90s playoff game when they're going to the Super Bowl rolls out to his right, and he was about to look downfield. LT takes 3 steps in his grill. Of course, Montana then does a little shimmy, but then gets drilled by Leonard Marshall. But my point is that's how fast he was. And I'm talking about this is 1990 film. We're talking about guy still looks fast. So my point is the game is different. LeBron James gets treated like royalty when sometimes you're like, dude, you're not even that. You're not even doing that. This is how I'll sum up LeBron James. Michael Jordan, sitting in his owner's seat, was asked, how would you defend LeBron James? And he's just like, I'd always force him left. He's bad going left, so I'd force him left. That's it. If Michael Jordan come down there at 50-something years old and tell you how he would guard the greatest player, I guess, of this era.
Michael Jordan should be worrying about building a good organization. All of his teams that he owned sucked.
You're hating on
Stop
Michael
worrying
Jordan.
about Michael Jordan.
can't
Michael Jordan's the
disagree with
greatest
him.
player
He's
of
right.
all time. But yo,
These
you
teams are
focusing on
struggling.
ownership, bro.
Some
Focus
people
on
ain't cut
that.
out. And some people ain't cut out to run organizations, man. You know,
Look at
Yeah.
Derek Jeter's doing with Miami.
See, Ash, that's the funny part is we would like to see LeBron in any era, but I'm telling you, the '90s he would not last. There's guys would not, because the thing is they used to rim protect. They don't rim protect anymore. Think of a goon in hockey, okay? A guy you would bring out an enforcer type to do that. They used to have big man. I mean, look, even in 2000, you had Rasheed Wallace. You know what I'm saying? That guy was a nut job.
Ben Wallace over there too.
You know,
Ben
those
Wallace
guys.
are trying to drive up there.
Exactly. Benwell. You had the Kim and Mutombo was a little before LeBron James. Wouldn't let him go to the rim. Now everybody doesn't want to get fouled or posterized. You know, give me the center that's going to go get posterized and make a defensive play every once in a while instead of the guy that olays. There's a lot of olaying that LeBron does when someone goes up. If someone's got the gather and he's going up, he's like, nah, I don't want to be in your poster. Let me get out of the way. Like, nah, man, just get in there.
Imagine LeBron James trying to go up against guys like David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo, Patrick Ewing, these great centers that were going on in the 90s. We had a lot tougher time trying to drive to the basket. These guys would have bodied him up and blocked that ball out of the way because you're allowed to hit a lot more in the 90s compared to now where you blow on a guy, it's a foul. The game's that much different now where you touch a guy, it's a foul.
It's the same thing that I say with the NFL. Everyone's
Pause,
like, oh, you know,
Pause, Logan.
the NFL is the same way, right? You look at Jerry Rice, he couldn't do the things that Odell Beckham Jr. could do now because Odell doesn't get touched till if you touch Odell at yard number 6, you go 5 inches, you go past 5 yards in a foot, and you touch the guy, it's a flag, right? Meanwhile, in the 80s in the NFL, you could tackle a guy on the receiver, and the quarterback would throw it to nobody, and it'd be acceptable. Same thing with the NBA. You can't do anything now. God, I put my hand on you to just back you off me a little bit. It's a foul.
I think you guys are right on those differences in the NBA, but you guys are wrong in the sense of LeBron, because I'm gonna have to agree with Ash. Like younger LeBron, everybody's looking at LeBron because he's been in the league for so damn long. Of the last 5 seasons, LeBron, the old LeBron. If you look at LeBron in his younger days, when he was just hungry coming into the league and hungry to get it in, he played more physical and he played defense. Nowadays, he doesn't play defense. He doesn't play physical. He only shows up when he absolutely has to.
Even those Pistons team with Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace made him earn it.
I'm not gonna sit here and put I'm not gonna sit here and put LeBron over Jordan because it's different generations. Jordan is one of the best basketball players to ever touch the ball. All I'm gonna say is, I honestly think that LeBron would last in any era. Obviously,
there you go. If you put Jordan in this era, he's wiping every record that we know in the NBA.
He's averaging like 80. He's averaging like
right. I don't think you understand the magnitude of what the eras are in the basketball stratosphere, because right now you're talking about when guys go up, you can pull them. I mean, there guys used to pull each other's shorts on the foul line so they couldn't jump and get the ball and stuff. We can't do that anymore. So while LeBron James is an immense talent, right? You can't play bully ball in certain eras, like at the Shaq era. Like he's not doing certain things in the prime of Shaq's life. Even the Penny Hardaway Shaqs, right? When he was with Penny Hardaway, that was a different era. He couldn't hang with Olajuwon and them boys. They wouldn't have been able to hang, or even the Knicks of the mid-'90s. They would have done things that are not allowed to be done now.
Oh, that
You know,
Pacers team in the
there's
90s,
reasons
too.
got into fights.
So
I
in
mean,
that discussion, should we like this goat talk is so outplayed in any sport, right? I think it should be generational talk in a sense of they dominated for that generation and he's dominating for this generation. You know what I'm
Well,
yeah,
saying?
it's
It's a
just hard to
sport.
compare
It's
eras.
so horrid because in
I
any
kind
sport
of
we talk about,
agree with you.
Here's my only problem I got with LeBron James. Like LeBron James, like y'all said, got all the everything, and there's no doubt that he would,
I
no
love
matter
it.
what, he would be good, whatever. I feel like he truly has that kind of a skill set. But LeBron James lacks killer instinct that a superstar of his caliber should have. And big
Jordan would
moments,
eat LeBron alive. Ash, I'm
and
sorry.
You know who had that
Jordan
big
killer
would eat
moments.
LeBron.
instinct on that Heat team?
Jordan,
Dwayne Wade.
Jordan,
Dwayne Wade had
Jordan is not
he had a
conceding.
killer instinct on that Heat team.
Jordan is not conceding against the game-winning shot. He's not conceding that to nobody. You know what I mean? Kobe Bryant wouldn't concede that to nobody. That's my only problem I have with LeBron James is he just doesn't. You have to piss him off pretty much to get the true maximum LeBron James.
Oh yeah.
He has
Jordan.
to be angry. You have to make him mad. And when he gets pissed off, then he just does whatever he wants because he is truly the most dominant player in the game currently right now in this era. I feel like
Jordan,
he needs to have that
Ash,
all the time.
you need to go back and watch some tape because Jordan wouldn't be down 3-1. He would be up 3-1. Okay, because that's what Jordan teams do. They don't need to fall behind to come back. Okay, Jordan is the greatest of all time. You can ask anybody who studies the game of basketball will tell you every flaw about LeBron. The problem is that we have TV and media and social media, so LeBron's everywhere, so you see him, so you don't understand the magnitude of Jordan. Guys like me and Mac, we have to educate you young bucks because we're the ones that watched Jordan. We saw his
And I remember, Adam, I grew up in that era too. I grew up in that 90s era of basketball where that killer instinct.
I was a fan of Allen Iverson. I just liked Allen Iverson more.
Right, and I mean, he had a killer instinct.
Jordan's the best player of all time. I'm not going to debate you guys on that, but I liked Allen Iverson better. He was
the thing is funny is because like Ash, I know he's a young guy. He's like, there's no team like the Warriors or KD. I'm like, dude, the NBA didn't start when you were born and these teams came alive. You know what I'm saying? These teams were good. There's no way these teams beat the Boston Celtics, the Showtime Lakers, the Bad Boy Pistons. I mean, the game was different. You cannot tell me they would do that. I mean, the mid-'80s Giants would destroy any team now. The mid-'80s Bears would destroy any team now. Now, if you gave the Bears the same rules, the mid-'80s Bears, as the same rules as they had in the mid-'80s, these guys would not know what to do with themselves. They would not know what to do with themselves. They trained harder, they practiced longer, and they cared about winning, not being on everybody's Instagram. Because that's what they do. You don't want to. Jordan didn't drop a game-winning shot, then run over and hug, John Starks and say, "Hey, man, I'll be at the club. You want to take a social media pic?" No, he was like, "I'll see you next game, bitch." You know what I'm saying? That's what he was like.
Yeah, agree. But then again,
oh my God, it's too hot in San Antonio. I have to cramp up and be carried off the court.
You can't
Give
say
me
that.
a
You
break.
can't use technology against versus LeBron because if Jordan lived in this technology era, it would be the same thing. I'm not saying that Jordan is better, but
quantify what Jordan did is what you do because Jordan's averaging what? He averaged what? Almost 28 points a game his career. Right? If you look at the era that he played and got those points, it was a lot harder than you getting 28 points now. So now you quantify that 28 points with the lax rules that they're playing now, that guy's probably dropping 40, 50 points a game because there's no rules. He got to deal with hand chucking. You got to grab him. You got to be physical. You can't even touch Steph Curry right now. You touch him and then Subway's calling you up, docking you your free meal because, you're hitting their endorsement ad. Okay, like give me a break with this Stephon Curry, this LeBron James. People want to talk about, look, he's a defense in the 80s and 90s was basically assault. It wasn't real defense. No, obviously it was real defense. What you're playing right now is patty cake, Ash. Thanks. If I wanted to go play patty cake, I'd sit down my kid and play patty cake. That's how you play defense in this. Okay,
well, I think what Ash is saying to defend Ash is NBA is not supposed to be a contact sport.
Yeah, but I mean, get angry at somebody.
Yeah, guys that was legit intimidators back in the day, though, man. Yeah, that doesn't exist in the NBA anymore. It doesn't exist.
Carl Malone put an elbow into Isaiah Thomas's face. Guy had 40 stitches, came back out and played the game. Nowadays, you'd sit on the bench for weeks with a towel on your face, crying and be like, oh my God, I can't play. No, Isaiah went back into the locker room, got his face taped up and said, hey, listen, I'm going back in the game. Ronnie Lott back in the day broke his pinky,
Cut it off.
Right back in the game.
Yeah.
Nowadays, he'd be out for weeks, months.
Imagine anybody trying to play against Dennis Rodman back in the day. You would have been up for a fight playing against that guy. That guy would bang the hell out of you.
People don't underestimate Dennis Rodman because all they're doing is looking at stats. Yeah, listen, Ash, you want to call it assault, that's fine. But I mean, that was the purity of the game. You can't knock the beginning of the NBA because it doesn't fit the narrative that you're trying to argue.
And the point that he's making is that was just the points were harder to achieve back in the day because when you came down that lane, you know what I mean, you was gonna feel something. It wasn't gonna be no they said swoop, no Ole getting out of the way. You're gonna feel something. Like I said, Pistons, the bad boys, go down that lane against Bill Laimbeer and see what happens. See what Bill Laimbeer does to you.
I see your guys' points. It's kind of like if
anybody of that era would tell you the same thing right now.
Yeah, like if anybody of that era was playing today and be like, "Oh wait, like I can go up to the ring and if they touch me, I get to shoot the ball again."
I mean, like you think about it like this, right? Jordan would do an ISO, right? And he's driving to the rim. He doesn't have to worry about doing a spectacular move. He can just go up with his right hand because no one's in the lane to bother him. I mean, that's what we're talking about right here. I'm not, listen, I like Kevin Durant better than LeBron James, and I'm biased because I think Kevin Durant has a better all-around game. There's a lot of deficiencies in LeBron that are masked because of who he is. I mean, the crab dribble, give me a break. That's a friggin' travel, okay? Or a Euro step. We're not in Europe. You don't need to do a Euro step. How about an American step? That's called a travel. Pack your bags. You're giving the ball to the other team. Euro. We're making up all these damn rules. Give me
And I will not disrespect.
I mean, it was like the hot
much softer game than man.
Yeah. I will not disrespect LeBron James in terms of the player he is because there is not a lot of players that have the type of game that LeBron James does. The guy is an all-around good basketball player, a great basketball player in terms of defense, his size, the way he can body you down in the middle. He can hit those three-point shots. But at the same time, the one thing that makes him different from Michael Jordan is when you were in the playoffs and you needed that big shot and you needed somebody to carry you to the end, Michael Jordan would have put you on his back, and he would have carried you to that championship.
You're taking 2 steps and you have the ball.
But I totally agree with you. But
Scottie Pippen would give you hell down low. You would have had yourself a hard time scoring any points against him down low, and he would put up 30 as well.
The hardest part to argue right now is that we're at a generational gap. Everyone's going to say their generation is better than the previous generation. But the thing is, you got to take what is going. If you know the history of the game, you got to now take that and then apply it to what they're doing now. And if you were great back then when the game was harder and now the game is easier and you're going to tell me that guy is not going to stack up, no way. It's like our argument with Marino. You put Marino in this era, there's no way Tom Brady's breaking the passing record. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
There's not.
Joe Montana. You put Joe Montana in this era.
Same thing, Joe Montana. The thing about Montana was the
Can you imagine what Jerry Rice would do? Jerry Rice went double his numbers in this era.
I'm just saying, like, we've got to, like LT right now, right? Everyone's like, oh, LT. LT's hits would be illegal, but in this era of football where they can't even touch you, the guy would be a beast. He was a beast in the 80s when it was harder. And now you got guys who can't even block. Are you kidding me? You put LT against some of these offensive lines, and we're talking about 6 or 7 sacks a game.
Yeah, for real.
You put him against the Giants online, we're talking about 15 sacks a game.
You put him against the Giants online, that's 15 in a game.
Bruce Smith, those types of guys in this era, those guys might have 3-4 sacks a game.
I mean, right now,
the way they played.
Right now, those guys would be in jail because of how hard they hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, LT's throwing guys down there.
Joe Theismann.
You know, Chad Haley, Charles Haley would be killing cats. He would be, you know, like they were crazy dudes. Now it's like, hey,
Joe
man.
Green.
They're like, hey, man, can I have your jersey? I just kicked your ass up and down the field. Can I have your jersey? Hell no, I don't want your damn jersey.
Fucking Deacon Jones.
What you need to do is take that jersey and shove it up your ass. I'll see you in 2 weeks when you come back to MetLife Stadium. You know, that's what I said. Hey, that's what I love. Like, look at Brandon Jacobs. He used to say we hated the Cowboys. You didn't see him exchange jerseys with DeMarcus Ware? No. But now everybody wants to be friends. Hey, man, let's do business together. Hey.
Yeah, but social media has a lot to do with
It's
that.
all for the
Adam.
clout. Yeah, it's all for the clout, and they get the views to see them exchanging jerseys, and then that adds more views to their
Like Joe
Instagram.
Montana.
Social
I
media
hate to bring
changed a
him up.
lot in
Social
terms of the
media,
game.
yes.
I hate to bring
Yes.
up Joe Montana, but that guy did not want to lose in anything. In anything. Jordan, same way. Jordan and Joe Montana, they both beat their kids, and they say you got to earn the wins. They're not just going to be given to you. When you're doing that to your kids, like, come on, man. What do you think he's going to do on the floor? That's a killer instinct. We don't have those guys anymore. That's what I think Joe Burrow is, a killer instinct. Guys are going to go in there and say, I got this. Great talk, fellas. Great talk. I love
I
this.
love
The NBA
it. I
brings it
love
out.
it.
I love this NBA talk. I love it so much.
Well, the thing is
And there
that
were
the
guys
eras
back
are
then
so
that did
different.
that in the back. I mean, Steve Kerr was one of those guys that would step back and take those threes, even though there was guys right in his face. Guy was a tremendous three-point shooter. Mark Price, another one.
Let me address Ash for a minute. Ash, you did see crossovers. Allen Iverson had a killer crossover. A lot of guys could play. Gary Payton, the glove, had a crossover. I mean, you need to
Tim
go.
Hardaway.
I'm being serious. You need to go
Tim
watch some of
Hardaway
these guys
Sr.
back in the day telling me there's no crossover.
Yes,
You gotta be kidding
Tim
me, man.
Hardaway.
The crossover
Sam
wasn't
Cassell?
invented when you started watching
Stephon
basketball.
Marbury?
You know what I'm saying? Like we had Stevie Franchise crossover, Allen Iverson. We had Mark Jackson doing no-look passes. Like, give me a break. You want to sit here and tell me, like, oh, well, they didn't have a crossover back in the day. Like, yeah, the crossover was invented when LeBron James came into the NBA.
Jason Williams. Remember
Like,
Jason
oh my
Williams,
God.
a.k.a. White Chocolate?
I mean, we got. This is why I hate arguing basketball, because people don't want to argue the style of play. They want to argue, well, the stats are
Yeah,
this,
he
the
said
stats
type
are
of
that.
crossovers.
And it's like, well, if you're not going to even acknowledge what happened in the past in the
He
history,
meant type. He
like
said, stop it.
Larry Bird. Larry Bird would probably eat a lot of these guys alive.
Don't be
because
stuck in the past, Adam.
I mean,
I'm not
I can
stuck in the
agree.
past.
One thing I can say is I can agree that this new generation, these kids, younger kids now, overall are more athletic or like more athletic, but they have advantages too that these other guys, these old guys, have. It's the technology, everything is so different. And
Don't be stuck in the
way world
future,
is,
Ash.
you know,
Maybe if you learned your past, you know
I can-
about the future.
I'm willing to admit that these guys are maybe
Ash
more
is very
athletically
knowledgeable
gifted.
on his basketball.
No, I'm
more
just saying we're having fun here. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
just
fact,
saying,
fact.
in order to like I can't say that
Sorry to
LT
cut
is
you off, Matt.
I can't say LT's the best linebacker in football unless I know what he was up against and who he goes up against and other linebackers that are in his class. So you can't just do that. They paved the way for the guys that you're seeing play today. Stephon Curry is playing right now because of guys like Mark Price, guys like Gary Payton, guys like John Stockton that played the Isaiah Thomas. You know what I mean? You act like you've never seen a crossover before. Isaiah Thomas,
Reggie Miller.
Reggie
Miller. Look what Reggie Miller did.
Right. I mean, you want to make fun of me for saying don't be stuck in the past. I want to just open your eyes to say, listen, just because I don't like LeBron James doesn't mean you can't like LeBron James. I'm just telling you that if I had to put my money down in their prime and Jordan in his prime at 28, 29 and LeBron in his prime 28, 29, my money's going on MJ.
You know, I think a guy like Dwayne Wade would be able to last in the 90s teams. That guy was tough. Dwayne Wade was one of those types of players that seems like a 90s player.
He had killer instinct. Give him the ball inside 2 minutes.
That guy would beat his body down to take that ball to the rim and get those hard points. Again, try to go to the rim and try to get those hard fouls and try to get to the foul line, make those key layups. He would hit those key shots. That's what Dwayne Wade would be. That type of player to fit into the 90s because that's the type of personality he had. He had a killer instinct, and I think when it came to those Heat teams, I think it wasn't LeBron James that they wanted to have the ball at the end of the game. It was Dwayne Wade. They wanted Dwayne Wade to touch that ball every time when it came down to the key moment.
Absolutely. And to shout out to Dwayne Wade, he stepped aside. Like they had that talk, and he said, "You know what, LeBron, there can't be two All-Stars on this team. You won it," and he kind of faded, and it became the big three because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like he kind of let LeBron as his friend.
Yeah, but we're talking about the end of the game. It was Dwayne Wade taking those closing shots.
No, absolutely, yes.
The only player that did was AI. Well, I guess you don't study the history of the game, Ash. I'm not. If you're not going to acknowledge people that can do crossovers prior to, AI, then I'm not going to have a conversation with you because it's only going to get back and forth, and you're just going to say this guy was better than this guy. It's like, oh, well, they couldn't throw a football in 1925. Yeah, I mean, obviously the stats in 19 something or other are going to be different than now, but you can't tell me that they can't, crossover or didn't crossover. Come on.
There's a couple former Nets point guards that did that. Sam Cassell, Stephon Marbury, Jason Kidd. At times, he wasn't the greatest shooter, but he did some of those nice crossovers. A lot of these guys did. You had to have been able to do that, try to pick up and get your own shot.
I mean, you obviously didn't watch time Lakers. I know Matt can tell you that Magic was crossing people over. He was no-look passing before no-look pass was even, a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Magic played all 5 positions.
All 5 positions, running down court, throwing no-looks. What do you want? Oh, because it was on social media, you weren't born. It doesn't matter, man. Magic.
He literally started the game at center one time way back in the day. Magic Johnson started the game at center once before, because for some reason or another.
I think
I don't give a damn about the speed of it. It's crossover. It's more than that. Stop getting all salty, man. We're having a fun
I think
time.
we had a lovely, lovely basketball take, and now we're gonna move on. We want to just give a score update for I'm not false advertising. We got 28 NFC, 41 AFC. Thank you for chilling and enjoying the football with us.
Oh my God,
that's a great discussion, by the way. That's a great discussion.
I watched Kyle Pitts run a whip route at 1.5 miles an hour and turned it off.
So I just wanted to get Logan's thoughts on Bengals versus Rams before we turn it into a little WWE section of the show. Logan,
go with our viewers.
Oh no, other viewers.
I don't know if this Bengals O-line is going to be able to hold up against this front seven, if I'm being honest with you. But I do feel that Joe Burrow will be able to be good in the pocket, evade the rush, and make plays happen on his legs. So I do have the Bengals winning 36-29. I know Zion, the Rams fan, is not going to be happy about that, but I have the Bengals winning, and I have Joe Burrow winning the MVP.
Nah, you're fine. I'm used to it. Everybody but me took the Bengals. I'm the only outlaw that took the Rams. Who do you got as the MVP prediction?
Joe Burrow.
You said Joe Burrow? Got you. Hell yeah. Welcome, Raphael. Thanks for joining the show. Welcome, Levance. Thanks,
Levance, for that fact check for me, brother. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Good look, man.
Hell yeah. Any other topics you guys want to talk about before we discuss WWE for a little bit and then we wrap it up?
What do you guys think of the new tight end hire that we just picked up from the Ravens, I believe? Andy Bischoff, I think his name is.
I don't know.
Apparently, he was big in development of. He was big in development of Mark Andrews, I believe. Okay. And he worked with David Culley before, I believe, in Baltimore.
Andrew Bishop.
Andy Bischoff, I think. Bischoff. Eric Bischoff. Yeah, they just, I believe they just hired him late yesterday or just today for the tight end position. And I think they're going to look at David Culley as a possible wide receivers coach. And, David Culley, the former Houston Texans head coach.
Oh, Andy Bishop as the tight ends coach.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
And I think there's a couple more defensive coordinator people that are starting to go for the position.
Yeah, they are playing two-hand touch, man.
The Pro Bowl is a joke.
Wait, the Pro Bowl is two-hand touch?
It's such a joke.
Yeah, it is.
No ways. It became flag football? Nothing. No disrespect.
You're not allowed to tackle in the Pro Bowl.
What? Okay, one enough. I get the blitzes, but now they took out the tackling?
I remember. I don't remember because I wasn't alive then, but I've seen Sean Taylor literally end that punter's career.
Yep. Oh no, they used to hit in the Pro Bowl like normal.
I got a question for you guys. For you guys. Do you think they should continue doing the Pro Bowl, or do you think they should just announce people for the Pro Bowl?
No, they're gonna continue doing the Pro Bowl because it's money. It's big money.
It's a money thing.
That's what I figured.
Even the draft is becoming a wicket too.
I think the thing is, back in the day when players were selected to the Pro Bowl, they used to take pride in being named one of the best players. Now guys just want to hang out and talk to people.
And plus, too, like the Pro Bowl when it was in Hawaii, it was like the end of the year. Like if it was an honor to go to Hawaii, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like you can relax on the beach. They used to put them in the the Ko'olina resorts in the west side of the island, and they have these little lagoons. So these players, they used to think at like at the end of the year, like, yeah, I did so good that I'm going to Hawaii to play in the Pro Bowl. Like, it was a celebration.
So also, the Pro Bowl used to also be the week after the Super Bowl, as opposed to the week
Absolutely.
before the Super Bowl. So you didn't necessarily lose all the players that were selected there in the Super Bowl. They actually got a chance to still play in the Pro Bowl if they wanted to, as opposed to now. It's
Yeah.
I mean, I
I
don't get
You're not
why
gonna
they moved it. I don't really
you're not going to
understand.
play in the Pro Bowl week before the Super Bowl, obviously. I mean, risk
I
getting
used to
hurt.
just love the Pro
And the
Bowl
Pro Bowl
because of
is
the
used
fact
for
that
recruiting too.
yeah,
They
that was
used,
the
they used to
only
recruiting players.
yeah before after that what Jeff said when it got to more like this the drafting of the teams and stuff like that and the fans voting and stuff like that, like I used to enjoy it because that was the only NFL I had like live to see all these players. I used to go to the Pro Bowl every year. That used to be my thing in Hawaii because that was the only football I had live living on the island. You know what I'm saying?
That was awesome, man. The AFC uniform, NFC
Yeah.
uniform. Down in Honolulu, they had a lot of fun down there, And now it's like I don't know why they're doing. I think they're doing it to kind of kick off Super Bowl week. I think that's their motive. Like, oh, you're down in Las Vegas, come play. I mean, I don't know why you would want to play a game on the field you're about to play a week from now, but that's what they want to do, kind of kick off. And then next week is like, I guess the Bengals or LA go there, and then on Tuesday the other team comes, and Wednesday you have like media day, and then all this
and all of that
the
fun
circus
stuff.
begins. So,
Yep.
well, this is where the game will be tipped to scales, right? If they don't get too caught up in the moment, because a lot of young teams can do that, right? Maybe Jamar Chase thinks that he's Mr. Invincible, and he goes out
Las
and calls.
Vegas.
Right?
I think. Sorry, continue.
And I mean, just what I'm saying. Especially you're going to LA, right? So you're in LA with SoFi Stadium. The Strip is there. A lot of partying is going to go on in LA. Will your guys be able to handle all of that? Because if they can't, they end up on a boat trip and they don't show up on time, for a game, then that'll be what will be talked about. I mean, the Buffalo Bills in 1990 went out and partied the night before, and they got their butts kicked in the Super Bowl. It really affected them. They said it. They're like, man, we probably shouldn't have went out last night.
I was going to say, like, going back to the Pro Bowl discussion, a lot of times at the Pro Bowl, there's a lot of players that are over there trying to recruit other players to come to their teams in the off season. So, like, sometimes you see these guys that are maybe
hanging
free
out.
agents or possible trade guys. They sometimes go up to these guys and try to recruit them to the team in the off season. So that's what the Pro Bowl is also used for, is like a recruitment type deal.
That's true. That's facts on that.
Yeah, but now it's just a glorified practice.
Pretty much.
I mean, the line, they were doing that, like the O line, just like the best O line blocking I've ever seen is in the Pro Bowl because nobody's doing nothing.
Might as well have a red cape and just go Ole.
Might as well just play flag football. Like I said, put fucking helmets on them. You have a center, a couple guys, and then all skill position players.
I got your flag down.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like you can see the players' faces and they can do like cool moves and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'll be like a fun skill challenge in a way. What's your thoughts about Teflon Diggs winning the receivers challenge? Best catch.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have another question. What's your guys' thoughts about Micah Parsons beating Tyreek Hill in the fastest man competition?
That was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny. Because they go in there and their first answer is, "What are you going to do, Mike?" He's like, "I'm just here to get paid." I'm like, "Oh, all right, great answer." Right? And then he goes out and beats the cheetah, who then looks like he tries to pretend like he pulls a hamstring. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, bro."
That's awesome.
But Micah Parsons needs to go eat something, man. Like, he took his shirt off. I'm like, "That you're a linebacker in the NFL? You look skinny as hell, man."
He's the Devonta Smith of the linebacker position.
Hell yeah. We'll do some Pro Bowl updates. Not like anyone cares, but we're gonna do it. We got Mark Andrews with 5 receptions, 82 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And another player to point out also too is we got nobody really special. I guess we got Kyler Murray with 155 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I like Mark Andrews. He's the type of tight end I'd like the Giants to kind of go after. Two-way tight end. We could talk a little draft, a little Senior Bowl, So the hype machine, the hype train's going right now, fellas.
Yes.
Quarterbacks are being built up. Daniel Jeremiah has said something along the lines of Kenny Pickett's now number 18 on his big board, and I'm sure that his stock is rising at going 6 for 6 for 89 yards and a touchdown. I know it wasn't glamorous, but these are the things. These are the type of things that you start to see. Malik Willis, there are so many mixed reviews, but most of the views are, man, his arm is live and he needs to be, developed. And I'm like, well, if the Giants want to pick a quarterback, now would be the time. I know a lot of people saying they aren't, and I'm not saying they will, but if they wanted to, and you like Malik Willis, now's the time to do it. You got Daniel Jones on the roster. This will give time for Dayball and his coaching crew to get their hands on Malik Willis and refine his game, right? And then next year, when you've built the O-line and then you put things together, now you got Malik Willis waiting in the wings and not having to worry about anything. Not saying that that's going to happen. Or Kenny Pickett, whatever quarterback you decide. They've got a lot of intangibles to work with. Sam Howell's now moving up the boards. They're saying he's probably going to be a late first-round pick. The Ritter kid from Cincinnati is moving up boards. And then there was a guy, Mafe, from Minnesota, who was just an absolute beast in the Senior Bowl game. His stock went from probably a 4th or 5th round pick, now probably a 3rd or a late 2nd. And then Jermaine Johnson. If I am a New York Giants, I'm running to the podium at 7. And I am picking Jermaine.
That kid is going to be a beast.
Jermaine Johnson
is going to be a beast.
He is.
Thank you, Levance.
He just flew over Jobo for me. He is the guy I want now over a Jobo. They said that he's going to go from anywhere from like 1 to 12, so that means he's in our range. You take that guy and you don't worry about nothing. Your defense you're going to have your Batman, your Robin, Jermaine Johnson, Azeez Ojulari. Let's go. Let's start the show.
There's already been questions about Thibodeau dropping too, because they say he lacks fire in his play. So
I'll take Jermaine Johnson because, like you said, someone said he's got that swaggy that you need. He'll tell you that, hey, I just beat you. I need that guy on the field. I need the guy that his mouth is going to keep going and his fists are going to cash in on what his mouth is saying. Jermaine Johnson's my dude. He's flying up the boards. If I'm the Giants, I know it might be a reach at 7, but I'm going after him.
You still wouldn't go with the double up on the offensive line?
Why? Because there's great offensive linemen in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. Zion Johnson.
I'm just saying. I mean, is it just an honest opinion?
No. The reason why I'm not going to do that is because first off, the draft is not 2 rounds. Okay, it's 7. Second off, there are a ton of guys in this draft that are the guy from UNI. Okay, I forgot what his name was, but he's rising up draft boards. They said he was going to be a 4th round pick. Now he might be going into the 2nd. A lot of these players are going to be available when the Giants pick with the 4th pick in the 2nd round, right? So Chris Snee was a 2nd round pick. Preston Richburg was a 2nd round pick, There are tons of good players in the 2nd round. I know people.
David Deere was a 5th round pick.
And he was serviceable. My point is that you can't just rely, like some people are like, oh, why don't we just draft the linemen, all 10 picks or all 9 picks? Like, give me a break. Your other team, if you can add a guy like Jermaine Johnson with Azeez Ojulari and Leonard Williams on your team, how is that not getting better? How is that not getting better?
How would you like a guy like Kyle Hamilton if that's the way they want to go there at safety, and you pair him up with McKinney, and you have the back end of your defense potentially locked up for the next 5 to 10 years?
I could see that happening too. The 7th pick is a wild card pick to throw in now. If you're not going for quarterback, right, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, and that affords you to pick a guy like Kyle Hamilton. Now, if the Giants only had a 5th pick or a 7th pick, obviously you're going with the best lineman that falls to you at that thing. But now that you have a 5th pick, you can go with Thibodeau if you want, if that's the guy you want at 5, because you don't think he's going to make it to 7. Or you go with your lineman that you don't think is going to make it to 7, and you pick a guy like Jermaine Johnson you pick a guy like Ichem if he falls, or Neal at 5, and you pick your guy Johnson at 7. I know people are like, oh, I'll pick Ichem and Linderbaum. Okay, fine. You can do that too. But to me, the edge rushers go down in the 2nd round. Why not get a guy that is rising up boards, that his skill set fits exactly what you want? He had great drop back at the Senior Bowl, right? He's probably going to bust up the combine 40 time. He's probably going to do a crazy lift, and before you know it, Jermaine Johnson is going to go from 1 through 12 to 1 through 10, and then we're not even going to be worried about this discussion. You got to pick sometimes the best player available. For me, I wouldn't be mad about Linderbaum. It's not like I'm going to go, hey, let me go melt down MetLife Stadium because they got the best center or one of the best centers. But I look at Daniel Jeremiah's big board, and he's saying that Linderbaum is 20. So why am I going to pick him at 7 if there's guys that are ahead of him? You know what I mean?
I think that the thing is with the Giants, this is how I'm feeling just coming into this offseason. I'm open-minded to everything that the Giants might
Mac
do this
Jones.
offseason, no matter what they do. Whether they go double up an offensive line in the first round, if they go defensive end in offensive line, if they go safety in offensive line, I'm open to anything and everything because you have to have that open mind because this is not going to be a one-year rebuild. This is going to take at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 years to rebuild this team back up because you can't do it all in 1 year. You could maybe improve your record, but it's going to take time to rebuild that offensive line, to get some better pass rushers in here, to get some depth on this roster. It's going to take some time. So that's why, like, you see a lot of fans that are like, we got to go O-line on a lot of picks, but then you're forgetting we have no real other big-time pass rushers except for Ojulari, who maybe he looks good in his first year, but who knows what he's like in the second year once teams try to start to scout him and find different ways to try to scheme to stop him. And you have to think about the secondary. Bradbury could be gone. We don't know about Robinson going in his second year. Jackson's an injury issue. Holmes hasn't really proved a lot. You got to think about the cornerback position. At safety, Peppers is most likely walking. Ryan, if Logan Ryan's still here this year, it's going to be pretty much a 1-year rental, and he's gone. So you got to think about the safety position. Linebacker, a lot of people love Blake Martinez.
We have no money. We have no money.
How is he coming off that ACL injury? And you have really no other linebacker at the position currently right now besides Blake, who's coming off an ACL injury. You got about the defensive line. Are you picking up Dexter Lawrence's fifth-year option? What is happening to Leonard Williams after the season? Are you going to think about pushing some cap into next year and try to restructure his contract? Are you going to play it out this year and then think about cutting him? What are you doing at defensive tackle besides the offensive line? Wide receiver. Everybody thinks that we're going to what are you going to do about Kenny Golladay? Is Kenny Golladay all of a sudden going to come back next year and become a stud? I don't trust him one bit. If I had a chance, I'd get him the hell off this team ASAP. Tony, what is he? We all think that Tony's going to come in here with Dable and this new system and become a beast. Can Tony stay on the field first? I want to keep Tony too, but can he stay on the field for longer than 3 quarters? Saquon Barkley, is he going to be fully back? We don't know about Daniel Jones. Sterling Shepard, goodbye. We all love you. You're a great player. You're gone. Darius Slayton, can't catch. Darius Slayton, he's probably going. John Ross, I don't want to hear about his speed. Did nothing this past season. He can go. Evan Ingram, sayonara. Kyle Rudolph, you did jack shit. You're gone. There's a lot of positions on this team that they have to try to rebuild. It's not going to happen all at once. It's going to be a multiple-year process, and that's why you have to keep an open book and an open mind on everything that Joe Shane, Brandon Brown, Kevin Abrams, Brian Dable, everything that this team is going to do. And I'm at the point where I'm open to whatever this team does to try to improve this roster. It doesn't matter to me because it's not going to be a 1-year rebuild. This is going to be a multi-year thing to fix this team over time. So that's how I'm feeling going into this offseason, into the draft, into free agency, everything. I'm an open book and open mind, and I'm going to trust these guys and give them the time to rebuild this roster into their image and rebuild this team into a better depth and a stronger roster going forward. So that's just how I feel going into this offseason.
Mac,
I think that was a wonderful, wonderful statement.
Thank you.
Mac, you want to add anything?
You guys.
Your size
I mean,
does it all.
It's like, yeah, I mean, you guys said everything that can be said about the subject. I mean, honestly, it's just, I really just want to wait and see. That's the beauty of this new regime. I don't know what to expect. I'm used to getting guys in here where you kind of have an idea what they're going to be doing. These guys, I have no idea, and that's what's intriguing about it. That's what I love. And that's what's exciting, man. I can't wait to see the direction of the New York Football Giants going forward, man.
Jeff, you brought up a good point, and I think it's Max kind of on the same sentiment. It's for me, the expectations here are not try to win and get all my guys in one draft. This is going to be – there are rumors now that Barkley may be traded. I don't want to go off on too many rumors or anything like that, but they may bare bones this team. And what that means is they may break it all down, right? Get rid of guys that have cap, big cap hits or may not be long for the future. Right, so they have 9 picks now. Maybe they're going to get 11 or 12 by the end of it with other picks and trades. This is the foundational draft for Joe Shane and Brian Dable. Get the guys you want in, the kind of guys you like. See what you can sift through the rubble of the roster and say, okay, I want to build with this guy like Ellerson Smith. Right, we didn't get a chance to see him, so yeah, maybe we'll bring him back. Right, Quincy Roche. Yeah, we liked what he saw. Let's bring him back. So I think for me. I'm not 100%, you need to draft, Linderbaum at 7 and Cross at 5. I'm not opposed to it. If they do that, that's fine for me as well. But for me, my draft strategy is, well, if I can get a great bona fide defensive player there, linebacker Devin Lloyd, Jermaine Johnson that I like, Kyle Hamilton, why not choose that guy? Because like Jeff said, the depth is missing at certain positions. You don't know if guys are going to come back. What if Logan Ryan is cut? Right? He's older. He's an elder statesman. Maybe they cut him. Maybe they cut Blake Martinez because he doesn't fit the defense of the new defensive coordinator. These are things you have to ask yourself, right? And not be surprised. Like I said at the beginning of the show, there are 18 guys that are going to be leaving this roster. Plus, the 4 or 5 guys that they're going to have to cut to get under the roster. So we're talking about 22 guys are already on a 53-man roster, and you're not talking about the futures deals or any of your draft picks. Not to mention, you have to pay those people a lot of money inside the top 10. You pay the most money per draft pick. 5 gets more than 7, 7 gets more than 8, 8 gets more than 10, right, in that bracket. After 10, it kind of drops off. It doesn't really matter. So you got to think, maybe they want to trade out. I'm not opposed to trading out there. I hear rumors they want to trade the 5th pick. Well, good. They want a quarterback. Someone wants Malik Willis. I'll trade with the Saints or the Steelers or a team like that. Like, okay, because if you think the Giants are picking a quarterback in 2023, they're going to need ammunition. Because I know a lot of people are like, well, the Giants are going to be, win 7 games. Well, if you're going to win 7 games, you're probably on the outset of 10 wins, the top 10. Which means you're probably going to have to trade in to the top 10 to get the quarterback that you want. Now, if you want a guy over everybody, if you want the first overall pick, well, guess what? You're going to have to give up a king's ransom, especially if the team there needs a quarterback. Right? They're going to be like, well, why would we want to give up the first round pick or whatever for you? I mean, look what the 49ers did to get Trey Lance. And all these teams moved up for different quarterbacks in this draft. You're going to need the ammunition. And so for me, just be open-minded, like Max said, to whatever happens, because these guys seem to be putting this team in the right direction. They're doing thorough investigations in these interviews. It's not like, hey, here's the first guy, let's sign him. They're taking ideas from everybody. They're getting their full fill. They're doing their due diligence. It seems like the GM is like, yo, I got the draft stuff covered. You go get your staff together, and we'll reconvene, early at the combine. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that is what you need. You got guys with plans, and this is exciting. Max, this is the most intriguing offseason I think I've seen in a long time as a Giant fan, because things are going to be happening basically throughout the entire offseason. Guys are going to be cut. Guys are going to be traded. Guys are going to be signed. Then the draft happens. Then you got the poking and prodding at the combine. And then and then the Giants offseason program gets to start a week earlier because they have a new coach. So you're going to get a lot of content for the Giants that you may not have gotten normally.
Yes, it is going to be a very.
I was going to say, all I'm going to say is, I know people are sentimental and attached to certain players and certain coaches. It's a new regime. You can't be attached to anybody anymore. You got to just trust to see what this new staff is going to do. And I'm sorry, you might love Daniel Jones, you might love Saquon Barkley or any of these guys. If the best thing to do is get rid of some of these guys for draft capital or for other players that fit the system for what's shown and what Brandon Brown and what Brian Dable are looking for, you got to accept it, because that's how I feel. You got to accept what these new the coaches want, the front office want to do. It's a new regime, so there's going to be a lot of change. So you just got to be aboard for the ride and see what happens.
Well said. And yes, this is going to be a really, really, really fun off season. A lot of things are going to happen. We're going to actually save the WWE talk to next week. It's going to be on Adam's channel, I believe, because we got the Elimination Chamber here in about 2 weeks. I got to run.
Royal Rumble.
Yes. So we're probably going to end it now, unless you guys rather just me leave it up, and I'm not going to be here for probably like 20, 25 minutes. You guys want me to keep it going? We can. If not,
we can end the stream. I think it was a good midday type of
Absolutely.
On. I think Premium Takes. I think this will be its new day, is Sunday.
Yes.
We're still working out the timing kinks. If you want in the comments, let us know if you'd like it later on in the day or midday. I mean, we can work it out. Zion is our host, so he is kind of important to the show. So he needs to be able to be coherent, and so we don't want to wake him at 6 a.m. or 7 in the morning to do a podcast. He ain't even getting dollar signs for. So I rather just work around his schedule. But I like this. I think Sundays are good, except when football happens. That's when we will change the podcast to a different time,
Yes.
so we all can enjoy our team's play.
Sunday
But for the off season, I don't mind Sundays. It's going to be a lot of slow stuff, but we're going to put out content. We'll talk about whatever you want, sports wise. I know the Olympics have started. Not everybody's watching, so we can always touch on the Olympics if you watched. If you're not watching, great. If you are watching, great. We'll talk about anything. This is not just a football podcast. It's an all-encompassing,
Sports.
old NBA, new NBA, future NBA podcast. We're making
It'll be baseball season again. I mean,
Let's go Mets.
We'll talk about that. Some things we hear around. If you're from a different area, maybe you get your local team's take. I know Mac and I are on the East Coast, so maybe we'll get our Yankees takes. And Jeff,
Are
you
you
can
guys
pop
are
on.
Yankees fans?
I'm a
Jeff,
Mets fan. I'm a
Jeff,
Mets
I
fan.
don't-
Mets fan.
I don't watch
Jeff,
baseball that
Jeff,
much,
Mac can
but
pop on
we'll be
cry
talking
about
about it
how
on
the
here.
Mets are gonna
Yes.
stink this year. And I'm just kidding. They got Buck Showalter. If I'm a Mets fan, I'm fired up.
They better turn it around.
Let's
They better
get it.
turn it around. I got high expectations for this Mets team.
Keep
this
that
year.
pitching staff
Especially
healthy,
Scherzer
man.
on the mound.
Make sure you guys
Scherzer
sub
and Braum
up.
on the mound.
Sub up to all these great content creators here. Links will be down
Yes.
in the description below. Make sure you sub up to LGZ Productions, and y'all have a good day. Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us today. And let's get it. We premium takes. That doesn't make any sense. We premium takes. Alrighty, we out, guys. Thank you.
Sub up, he's up.